I would travel down to hell and wrestle a film away from the devil if it was necessary. Werner Herzog. Ladies and gentlemen, variations thereupon. My name is Stig, and this is Modern Escapism. Hello everyone, and thank you again for tuning in for another episode of Modern Escapism. This week I am in the hot seat and I am joined by Oodles.
Greetings and salutations.
Biggie.
Good evening.
And Doomican.
Good evening.
Well, last week's episode was certainly an eye-opener, and it was a hell of a lot of fun to record and a hell of a lot of fun to listen back to, and we've had some great feedback for that episode. So to take us into back in time, Biggie is going to read that for us.
That's right. So, feedback this week, we've got the real Rider at Rider_555. Absolutely fantastic episode this week, fellas. Was howling at Oodles' confession, and yes, Prince of Thieves is a cracker. Also,
It's not.
Also, Gadget, 2 words, 1 punch. Not seen that, so don't know what that's about.
One Punch Man. Boof.
Jesus, this week's podcast was funny. Oodles, you need professional help, my friend. Although I did actually think Thatcher was an adult film star, as she fucked thousands of minors in her career. Sick though.
Yeah.
Then we had from Rob McIlroy at Rob Sharp. Oodles really owning the guilty pleasure section. Fair play. I'm also a big fan of Fast and Furious, and another guilty pleasure of mine would be the Saw movies. Seriously binge watch them. Excellent show this week, guys. Now I want a filthy, dirty kebab.
Yes. Ooh, lovely kebab.
So, watching Saw and eating a kebab sober.
Yeah, that is a guilty pleasure and a half.
That's gross.
And then we have an email from John Lister. I recently found your podcast and have thoroughly enjoyed the few episodes I've listened to so far. I find your relaxed...
Sorry, I was just saying thank you.
Oh. I find your relaxed conversational tone words perfectly for tinkering in my workshop while machining and forging. Following your recent...
Forging what? Signatures?
Yeah. It's not very clear, that is. It could be anything. Following your most recent episode, I wanted to recommend 2 pieces of media based on Flowers for Algernon, one rather more serious than the other. The first is an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The episode Flowers for Charlie from season 9 has the group's literate janitor participating in a scientific experiment to increase his intelligence. That's a good show, though. I love that.
Oh, it's so
just like
good.
the Nutty Professor, that episode as well.
It's so not. But that episode is absolutely brilliant.
It is good.
Like, it is such... I mean, this whole show is brilliant. I'd suggest anyone watch that show because it's
I do like how
pure
quick the episodes
genius.
are on that program as well. It's like, boom, you're in.
I'm not sure if I've seen that episode. I'll have to go back and check. I don't think I've got as far as season 9. The second is the film Awakenings. This is such a good shout. Starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. It is a fictionalised account of Oliver Sacks's memoir in which a doctor attempts to treat a group of ketonic patients suffering from a sickness that has left them in comas for several decades. This film covers several of the same themes as Flowers. I will warn you that it is one of the few films that has made me ugly cry uncontrollably.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
No one's seen this?
I've not, no.
No, it's definitely going on the list, though.
I want to see it after that.
It's brilliant. The acting is brilliant. And Robin Williams is really restrained in this movie. As a doctor, he's
when Robin Williams did Straight, I think he was brilliant.
Yep.
Like, remember in Good Will Hunting and stuff like that? Oh,
yeah.
So good.
And they're all good. Everyone's good in this movie. But yeah, particularly De Niro and Williams. We also heard from Terrestrial Extra at Terrestrial Extra. Hi, I'm new to the show and loving it. Still can't tell your lovely northern accents apart yet, so whoever recommended 12 Angry Men, thanks, top film. Well, I've really put a spanner in the works with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, basically to differentiate the northern accents, I say A up, Stig says hello, and Gadget says I'll read And Doomy says, what do you say? Probably barn cake or something like that.
Yeah, and we're talking about what the correct term is for that. That's what I'll say.
And Jeebus just has the bad takes, so that's the North.
Then we have X Ben Blaster X. Was this whole podcast just a long con for Oodles to sell me expensive phones?
That's the plan.
Oodles,
Let me sign you up today.
Oodles, if you like the South Park musical, then you have to see the Book of Mormon. I saw it in London. I was almost sick from laughing.
Do you know that's the one thing that's got away from it? I've not been able to see it. I don't think they've released it either, have they?
No, it's not
on
like
DVD.
No, I really want to watch this because I'm a huge fan of South Park.
A few of my friends have been to see it, and I've just been like, "Oh, come on, I'd love to see it." But yeah, not.
Well,
they were
due to tour with it either this year or next year. Obviously, for obvious reasons, that's not happening. So,
yep.
When we can do it, I'm definitely going to try and go and see it.
Yeah, definitely, and it's probably going to be quite big places now, though, isn't it? Big theatres rather than the smaller ones. Maybe there's a few near us, to be honest. So yeah, I'd love to catch that though. I've seen so many good reviews of it.
We then heard from Deadbeat Punk. Poor Oodles, you're in a shame-free environment, lad. You nibble your toes to your heart's content.
Thanks, mate.
He then went on to say the highlight is still, was Han's surname really Solo?
That was so funny.
I thought everyone knew that.
That
it's literally
brilliant.
Like a minute later, all of a sudden it just clicked with him. He's like, hang on, is Han's surname really Solo? It's like, yeah.
And considering Jeebus loves Star Wars so much, do you think he would have picked that up?
Yeah. They even make a joke about it in the film.
Yeah. Such a traditional Asian name as well, Han Solo.
We then had Nimrod Hicks. Okay, I listened to this week's episode today whilst driving, by the way. Nearly died twice. Oodles, I thought I was being open with my internet me time comment, but only watching porn for the comments. Wow. Great episode, lads. Keep it up. What is next week's theme? Also, props to Gadget for using the word unique without prefacing it with fairly, etc. Can't abide with people that do that.
That's a fairly unique observation there. It really is. I seem to have captured the hearts and minds of the nation last week. Like I say, I was just being candid, and I'm glad I've touched you all. And if you'd allow me to touch you again.
I felt the show
nice choice of words there.
It was building up. You could feel it building up. So then when it came to your section, it was just something else.
I warned everyone.
if you hang around as well for another 30-40 minutes, then you'll find out what this week's theme is as well.
Or you can just read the show notes and you've had it spoiled for you.
Yeah.
Just a couple more. We heard from Christine Dowie, OMG Oodles and porn. Then in caps, toenails. And then he reads the last page. What the fuck?
Like I say, I've captured the hearts, haven't I? I really have.
Went on to say,
I'm deeply touched that I've affected you all this way.
Mama Gadget is a big fan of Oodles.
Yeah, I think we need to have a parental advisory sticker on our podcast.
We definitely have. We already have.
Parental advisory just on Oodles.
Yeah, just on Oodles.
Look, right. That was a top. You guys gave me the topic, and I delivered.
When we have you have to put an E for explicit. We should also have an O for episodes Oodles is on, just so people can come prepared.
wait till there's New Year's resolutions podcast. It's gonna be incredible.
As you finally went on to say, poor Jeebus, he couldn't follow Oodles. His guilty pleasures are totally normal. We were hysterical listening to Oodles. And then finally, Monk's Boy, fabulous editing on the Averil part. I mean, couldn't have been a more tuneful singer over any original track you were going to sound off. Bless him.
I love that. I love that. It was such a surprise as well.
Thank you for acknowledging my singing.
Yeah, what are you singing this week, Stig?
Oh, I don't know. I've not even thought about it.
I mean, singing's a strong word, really, to describe what happened. You were just shouting it.
No, that was singing.
Monk's Boy,
you're on the spot. If you get me on the karaoke, then one day you might see a bit different. Something a bit different.
Notes for meet and greet. Karaoke.
You might
Oh,
see
yeah.
people seriously consider social distancing then. He also adds... Monk's Boy says he also adds, fuck me, oodles in his feet. And that is it. Always
I've got
oodles.
lovely feet.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant feedback there. Like I said, that episode absolutely banged. So it was such a fun episode. Oodles
I loved
was
listening to it. I did.
A particular delight.
I didn't mean to do anything special or extraordinary. It was just, like I say, it's just me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just me, guys.
Brilliant. So thank you everyone who messages in with feedback for last week's episode. We're now going to head over to the Nexus and talk about what we've been doing this week. First, we're going to start with Oodles. What have you been up to?
Right. So this week I've been biting my toenails. No, I haven't. I haven't really.
Yes, you are.
I have a little bit. I was going to talk about my odyssey with laptops and technology, but I'm going to leave that for an episode where I can scream at a microphone. But basically, I've destroyed a laptop today without physically hurting it. But moving on, I want to talk about a little game that captured all our hearts, really, and surprised me more than any game surprised me in a long time. It's called Among Us. Have you heard of it?
What's that?
Basically, it's a game that Stig is really bad at.
I proved this week. I was really bad on the stream. I'm not gonna deny that, but I can win, and I proved that the other night. I can win.
What, with one screenshot you proved that?
No, I've got video. If you need the video evidence, I will give you the video evidence. But I was terrible. But
obviously, you can go and watch our stream of it on our YouTube. But I thought I want to discuss it a little bit more before we do, before you do, and before we ever play it again. So what it is, it's I think they call it isometric multiplayer, don't they? Where you're all in there together. You're not basically in a little spaceship. It's 2D, no, 2.5D type affair. It looks like a Flash game, doesn't it?
yeah.
And basically, is it up to 10 people you can have on your team?
Yeah, you can have
it's
up to
up to
10
10.
people like in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, so we obviously had 6, and one of the 6 is the imposter or the murderer or the potential murderer or someone that just should not be there, and everyone else doesn't know. And it's a secret, obviously. You've got to... Basically, the imposter's job is to blend in. Like John Carpenter's The Thing, but
I
less
so
alien-y.
got vibes from that. I really did.
Yeah. It's weird. And I mean, watching our video or playing it yourself, you get that feel. Because I'd never played it at all. And I was confused. I think Jeebus was the same as me. We were both like 2 old men, like, what do we do? What's the aim? And like Stig said, the aim is survive or kill. It's the simplest format, but he doesn't look it from the off. When you first set up, you're waiting in a little lobby, then the leader of the party, you get involved, you start doing your tasks if you're not the imposter. You basically got to get to... I don't even know if there's a backstory in that game. You've just got to get from A to B.
No,
completing tasks.
You basically, yeah, like anyone who isn't the imposter has to do a series of tasks before the imposter kills them, or you work out who the imposter is. If you do all of your tasks before they've managed to kill everyone, then you win. You
could, yeah, if you're quick enough, and obviously there's cooldown times and stuff, you could just kill everyone in one go if they don't notice. But the chances of that happening is very slim because people are going to notice. Because the tasks, this is what I like about the game. The tasks seem to get you everywhere in the ship. If you're following the task and you're doing it properly, you will stumble across a body. I mean, the first few times I didn't realise it was a body. I was just stepping over it, just ignoring it.
It's literally like a pair of legs with a bone sticking out of it. What else could it be?
It could be dinner. I don't know. But what I really want to discuss about it more than the actual game itself is how it made me feel about games and multiplayer, because I'm not a big multiplayer gamer. I play a bit of Rocket League now and again. But this, it sparked something in my little dark heart. It made me feel like this is the future. This is what gaming is all about now. It's about fun, ultimately, but fun in a social aspect. So it was the first time in this lockdown / pandemic that I didn't feel like I'd miss my friends, if you get what I mean. I'm not trying to be somber or anything, but I felt like I were really socialising. I mean, I know that we do this podcast every week and stuff, and we have a lovely community, but it just made me feel warm inside.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, it's a great game for. I mean, even though about 60% of the time you're not talking, are you? Because you're running around. You have to stay silent in between tasks until someone finds a body or presses the report button. But yeah, I get that. Like having just having a bit of a laugh and a bit of joke and trying to figure out who the imposter is it's so much fun.
I think that's what makes it special as well, because you don't talk, you're doing your tasks and you're probably talking to yourself, or if you're me, you're singing and stuff like that. But it makes, when you go to the meetings or you find a body or you need to discuss with everyone, it makes that little bit more special, because you only get a couple of minutes to chat and laugh and
accuse.
And basic accuse, point a finger at Stig. It's just, I don't know, it's just really warmed my little heart this week, and we got really good feedback from people that watched it and stuff like that. I just wanted to chat about it, to like flag it up really and say thanks, and thanks for pushing us to do that, Stig, even though you're terrible at it.
I'm not terrible. I just had a bad night. I had an off night, and I know why. After I watched it back, I know why. After Jeebus pointed out why and the tells, I was okay, that
and this
sense.
is not a bad thing, my friend. It's because you're a bad liar.
No,
there's nothing
honestly,
wrong with that.
I played the other night and I absolutely killed at it, and I got through everyone. But that one, it was just I couldn't. When I got accused, especially like Jeebus was like, hang on, and then no one was listening to me either. Like if you watch that back, he says stuff and then he contradicts himself, and everyone just ignored it. But went for me, and you were right. You got me. So you got the right result. But I was trying to push you towards him. But he's just so calm and collective, and that's why he's very good at pushing people to what he's
I'm about
thinking.
To say.
But
he's clearly a sociopath. That's why he can get away with like turning a group of people against a common enemy. Do you know what I mean? He's good at that.
Going into that, I sort of knew what it was looking at it, but I didn't really understand it. You know why it was so popular, or because I was thinking, is it going to be that good? This though, really?
It just looks crap as well, doesn't it?
It looks basic, doesn't it? It's so basic, but oh man, it was that, it was such one of the best sort of most fun I've had in gaming in a long, long time.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, he really brought it out of us, and we got to know each other a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
We know the trustworthy ones. We know who relishes actually killing each other and stuff like that. And we know that Big is a terrible ninja. The worst ninja.
You gotta watch some of Biggie's kills, just literally killing people in front of other people. And it's just like, oh, come on.
I've been playing COD too much. It was, but I generally
maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're the best ninja. You're just doing it in plain sight.
The one where I can't remember who was in the room with me, but I think Jeebus spotted me. But come out the vent, and I didn't see there were two people, because on my screen one character covered the other one, so I couldn't see them.
Yeah,
they were both sitting down in the corner. So when I killed one, I was like, "Yes!" I thought it was Doomy, and then Doomy was kind of looking at me like, "I think I've just seen that," and he ran off, and I was chasing him, but I couldn't get near him, and the countdown was there, so every time I got close to him, I couldn't kill him. But I loved it.
There's just some hilarious moments that come out of it. I mean, you can go on a murderous rampage if you want. One time I tried when I played before. I got down to 2 people before they figured it out, because I literally just went round and just started killing everyone like as soon as I saw them.
And the tasks that you do in it, like as basic as they are, going into that game blind, it was still a bit like, what do I do here? And like the one where you swipe the card, I was swiping it too fast.
Fuck that swipe card one.
So I couldn't do that. And then you just see some other character wander into the room, and then you just start panicking, thinking, is this the murderer? Am I going to get killed here?
It does remind me of being at work when someone's when you're doing a task and someone's like, can I see you for a second? That's what the little meetings room. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm blowing asteroids up here. Don't be calling me into a meeting when I'm trying to save the ship.
That's one of the worst things as well, when you're trying to do a task that takes a while. So, like, I think starting the reactor is annoying. You have to remember a sequence, and you have to do it 5 times.
That's right, yeah.
And you get to the 4th one, and then someone finds a dead body or does a report, and you're just like, fuck's sake, I've got to start this all over again now.
I've got to get back to work. Yeah, it's so awful, but in a good way. But yeah, that's really all I want to chat about. And I want people to definitely go to our YouTube /Modern Escapism and watch that Among Us stream, because if you're not into gaming as much, you'll understand the gist of it in about 5 minutes, and it's just pure gold. And that's not me being biased, because I love everyone that I work with here, but I just think it is pure gold, and you should definitely check it out.
It was a good stream. It was a very good stream.
Thanks for recommending it, Stig. Really,
Yeah.
I knew it'd work. I knew it'd be a good one to play.
You got me into Hollow Knight and Among Us, so that's 2 for 2, mate.
Yeah.
And this is free on mobile, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can play it on mobile or tablets
About
for
£4
free.
on PC or something, isn't
But
it?
it's £4 on Steam if you've got it on a PC. But
It's
you can play between.
It's worth everything.
Yeah, and I would recommend, if you've got the ability to play with voice channels as well, do it with that, because texting just doesn't work as well.
No,
You really need the voice.
You need to hear the lies or the truth.
You do, so.
Unless you play with Gadget and he just shouts out that I've just killed him anyway.
yeah. He did a good job hosting that stream. But yeah, that's all I've got this week, mate. So
Great.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks for that, Oodles. Like I said, we've
Welcome.
got that on our YouTube channel, so go and check that out, because it's a great stream, and I'm pretty sure we'll do another one of it because it was such a good laugh.
Definitely. We have to, mate. We have to.
Moving on then, Doomy, what have you been up to this week?
A few things. I'll just quickly run through a couple of them. I've started to play Hades based on all the feedback.
Yes.
All the good feedback
Good
that
man.
game's been receiving. I started it yesterday. Done 7 or 8 runs, I think now.
Wow.
It's excellent.
I told you.
It's
so
really,
good.
really good. Even so early on, you can tell it's special. And
Even just the voice acting, you're like, oh, this is cut above the rest. You're like, oh.
yeah, every run, you just learn, like you say, you're just learning something new.
Yeah.
With every death, and something new opens up.
Have you got a favourite weapon yet?
Well, I've just unlocked the trident.
Yep.
And but the furthest I've got to the second boss was with the bow, which I wasn't keen on at first. It's not normally my sort of weapon I'd go for. I'm more of a sort of tank player, so I thought I'd use the sword or the shield. But the bow is what I've been most successful with, actually. So I'm quite enjoying.
I've not used the bow at all, and I've finished the game. So maybe I should do a bow run.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It depends on what sort of boons you get and things like that. So
Obviously, yeah. Cool.
I've also
I want to play this game so much when I'm so close.
Stig,
to
you'll
finish.
love it. I know you'll
so
love
close to the game I'm playing at the moment. So as soon as I've done with that, I'll be moving on to Hades.
Nice.
So I've also started to play again Smash Brothers, because they announced Minecraft Steve as an additional character last week, which
Minecraft Steve
is going to get. I know that's going to make my son want to play it, but I'm awful at it, so I need to get good before he does, because I'm not having him beating me at that. So,
Yeah,
but it's such a strange fighting game, that one.
It's weird. I love it, but it
goes
it feels
against
unlike any other fighting game.
it just goes against all my instincts for a fighting game. But I need
you know
to.
what? It's almost too simple to control in a weird way. You're expecting your characters to do more, but they don't. It's so weird.
As soon as I go off the edge, I'm dead. Basically, I can't reclaim land.
Always be Kirby.
Everybody else
then
seems
you can just
to
float
be
up.
flying around forever.
Yeah, Kirby's a good training character to get your water wings in a way.
He's the only character that I'm good with.
Yeah, it's like your starting character.
There's too much going on the screen as well sometimes, with all the moves going on. You can't even see where the fuck anyone is. It's just, yeah.
I'm a Toon Link guy, if anyone's wondering out there. That's my main.
So I'm gonna try and get good at that. I don't know if I will.
I think
to
you
be
will.
honest. but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you all updated. But the main thing I've been playing, and it's not a very well known game, I don't think. So keep your eyes peeled for it, because I think it's going to be pretty big, this one. It's called Minecraft. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh, is it a German game?
It must be. But, no, but I don't think I need to explain what Minecraft is, do I? Or should I?
Lego.
Yeah,
I have never played Minecraft.
Nope,
Shut up! Are you being serious?
Oh, really?
I'm being serious.
No.
I know.
Wow.
Honestly, I don't know what you can do in it other than you can
So
build
basically,
stuff.
So basically, if you start a new game, you're basically on your own. You sort of have to chop away at wood, and when you get the wood, you can turn that into planks, and with the planks, you can turn it into a crafting table. And once you access the crafting table, you can turn the planks into sticks, and then you combine that with coal, which you can mine. You can add them to your sticks, and you can make torches. And it's all just about mining the different materials and elements in your environment and putting them together and seeing what you can craft and build. It's just complete sandbox, really. You can build whatever you choose, really.
Someone literally built a working computer inside Minecraft.
It's crazy, some of the things that people have built in it. Mine is I'm very much at the sort of mud hut stage of construction.
I think I've seen people have obviously done replicas of stuff like Minas Tirith and Hogwarts and things like that.
Yeah, they tend to do that in free mode, where you don't have to think about resources. You just build.
Yeah, so
it's so impressive though.
The creative mode is where you have everything open to you from the get-go, so you can use whatever you want. And then there's a survival mode where you start off with nothing, and it's just a survival game. And you have monsters coming after you at night time and things like that. So you have to craft weapons and armor to protect yourself from that. My son's mad on it. But the reason I started playing it this week was because last month they launched a VR edition of it for the PlayStation VR.
Did they?
And it's really good. It's implemented really well. It's basically, so you put the headset on, and you sort of start off, and you're in a room in Minecraft, sat on a couch, and you've got sort of pictures on Minecraft pictures on the wall, and what looks like a Minecraft sort of picture or TV in front of you, and on that is the image of the in-game, what you're controlling, and you can sit on the couch and play it with the controller through this sort of TV. But if you press up on the D-pad, it takes you into the game, and then you
that's good.
Then you're sort of in that virtual reality,
like in the Matrix.
It's so good, but the in the survival mode, it turns it into like a survival horror.
Oh god, yeah, at night time.
When you get into the mines and the monsters and the mobs are coming after you, it's genuinely terrifying with the sound as well. But also, it's all the game modes that you can play in the regular game, they're open to it as well. So I bought my son the Jurassic World map pack.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
And it's brilliant. But
the music's there as well, isn't it?
The music's there. You can play that in VR. So I started a new game of that, and you're on Jurassic World, and then you sort of get in a minecart, and you get that moving, and it sort of takes you through on the mine track. It starts you up this hill, and the music starts playing, and then you get to the big Jurassic Park gates, and they open up through it, and it's just, and then you see it, and it's just incredible. I was just like smiling. It's so, it was so good. It was so good. But my son's only 6, so I don't really think he can. I don't think it's good for his eyes if he plays that.
Did you have the VR on and were like, shush,
oh,
son,
no,
Daddy's playing.
I've not sort of played it in VR while he's been here, because he'd want to be in it all the time then. All the time.
Yeah, I have found that when I put my VR headset on, I thought, well, I've got a bit of spare time now. Kids are outside playing with their friends. Put that on, and then they'll come back in. They're like, "Can we have a go? Can we have a go?" And you're like, "I just wanted to."
Do you know, I've never ever played a VR game in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's good.
Never, not once.
It's really good.
It is really
I've got
good.
a feeling that the second I put it on, I'm going to start throwing up. But I'm not travel sick, so I don't know. I'm just.
No, you'd probably be okay then. You'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
Some games are worse than others for it.
I'd probably play a game that I'm used to, that I've played without VR first.
Resident Evil
so
7.
I know what to expect.
Yeah,
oh
Minecraft.
yeah, jumping
Minecraft
straight
then.
into survival horror.
You have to, mate. It's
I know.
It's
How,
bad.
Jamie,
man.
how does playing with that kind of graphics then work? Like feel in VR? Because a lot of other games in VR is trying to make.
It's fine. It works really well because it's so basic anyway. They're not trying to portray realistic graphics, so it works really well. It controls really well. You can you look and move forward, and you'll move forward in that direction, or you can flick the right analog stick left and right, and it'll move in sort of 45-degree increments. So gradually.
Yeah, so you're not going to be sick then, are you?
No.
'Cause you've got enough time for your eyes to adjust, because that's what makes you sick, isn't it? Your legs aren't moving.
You can also what I think's good about it as well is if you don't want to be in the VR all the time, you can come out of the VR, just play Minecraft usually, normal, create something, and then get in VR and see what you've made that way.
So good.
And I did the thing in like survival, creative, where you can, if you double tap jump, you can just fly up as high as you can.
Oh no!
And then I just dropped and looked at the floor racing towards me, and it was nice. Really it was not a good time. I'll be honest with you.
Were you going all the way down?
I don't know. It's just a weird sensation. It is a really weird sensation. VR. Sometimes.
Is that on the PlayStation VR? Because that's probably the cheapest way to do VR, isn't it?
It's on the PlayStation VR. There's probably been mods for it on the PC one for ages now.
Yeah,
but this is an official one for the PlayStation, yeah, and it's free if you've got Minecraft.
I've definitely got Minecraft.
But yeah,
cool.
I really recommend it. I do. It's a good time.
That sounds great. Sounds great fun. I need to get back into my VR a bit more. I've kind of neglected it.
Because if not, you're lending it to me.
The only thing I keep jumping on really is Beat Saber, but there's a few games that I want to try and play. So anyway, that sounds great, Doomy. So we'll move on to you, Biggie. What have you been up to this week?
Obviously took a bit of time off from the podcast. Just want to say a big quick shout out to everybody that's been really supportive. So thank you. There's quite a few things I managed to get done. Finally watched The Boys season 2.
Yes.
Oh boy.
No spoilers.
Oh god.
No. I just want season 3 so bad.
What a good show. Amazon's best. It has to be.
The production on that show really surprised me. And
it's so good.
I mentioned it before, I'm a big fan of the comic anyway, and I appreciate what they've managed to, again, put up on screen. There's certain things that they could only get away with in the comic and not in the show, but what they've done is brilliant, superb. If anyone hasn't watched you're missing out.
Do you know what? Anthony Starr that plays Homelander, he is incredible at being scary.
So well cast.
Yes.
He is incredible. What else is he in?
Do you know what? He's got that face that you think you've seen him in something else before, but I've not actually looked at.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He makes me when I'm watching him, I feel like it makes you feel safe to be around him, but also absolutely terrified of being with him at the same time. It's like, wow, he's an incredible actor.
I only just worked out. I can't believe I didn't realise that Jack Quaid, who plays Huey, is Dennis Quaid's son. It's quite obvious from the name, but I just never really picked up on it, and then I suddenly realised I considered.
He doesn't look like his dad at all, though.
I do. I see it now. When I realised, I looked at it, and now I can see it. But I think everyone's been really good in that show. Really good casting.
Yeah, so well casted. Yeah. Everyone's incredible on it.
So I watched Zodiac, which I actually saw when that first came out, and just one of those movies that you sort of see, you enjoy, and forget all about, and then. My wife and I ended up watching that. Really enjoyed it. I appreciate it much.
That was like one of the first
time,
of Robert Downey Jr.'s resurgence, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's so good. Again, brilliant casting in that movie. So good.
Yeah. David Fincher is a brilliant director.
I
can't think of any of his films that I haven't disliked.
He don't fuck about, does he?
Yeah.
Alien 3.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's not good.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
It's not good. If you want to watch Alien 3, just watch the trailer.
He mostly directs brilliant films.
Yeah. Let's say the last 20 years. No, he's very good. No, he's still
put
very
that on Wikipedia.
Every director has an off day, don't they? So
yeah.
Even the greats.
I just started as a game-wise Divinity Original Sin. Just
that's one of Gadget's favourites, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not very far into it, but I've enjoyed playing that. But mainly, what's really grabbed my attention... I've finished Call of Duty single-player campaign. I thought I'd just go through that.
Is that the Modern Warfare one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Well presented.
It's so good.
It is
so good.
I was quite impressed, really, what they did with that. Yeah. So that was quite good fun. But no, I've actually been playing God of War.
Boy of War, Dad of War.
Yeah, it's... Do you know what? I played it when it first came out.
Incredible.
What a game.
Get very far into it. I think I'm a big fan of the original games, and I found that shift in how the game worked just threw me off a little bit. It just wasn't really expecting that. And I got distracted with something else at some point and sort of just dropped off it. And then one of my mates was playing it, which got me thinking about it again. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to have another go at that. And loving it. It's really just clicked. And really enjoying that game. So if anyone's
not finished it yet, then?
No. I don't know how far I'm into it. Probably the first.
It's a long game, mate.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
But yeah, just I don't know. There's so many good things you could say about it. Just the art style, the way that they've actually made you sympathise with Kratos for the first time.
That's one of the best switcheroos ever. He was literally just rage incarnate on the last 4 God of Wars. Well, there's, I think, 6 God of Wars before this one.
Yeah.
And on this, he's just completely different. It's so good. It's more cerebral rather than visceral.
The relationship between his sons. So in the game, I don't think this is really a spoiler because it's right at the beginning of the game. His wife, the boy's mother, dies. So they decide to go on a trip to take her ashes to the top of this mountain. It's based on Norse mythology, so it's based around Midgard, I think. Would you say that's agreed?
Yep.
So he goes on this journey, and then it's just about the relationship between Kratos and his boy. Is really well developed. Kratos is still quite this sort of guy full of rage and anger and hurt over what's happened. So his relationship with the boy, they're not very close. The boy was clearly closer to his mother. So it's just this development that goes on, and something I would link it to is a little bit like The Last of Us, where you've got that relationship between Joel and Ellie. Is very similar kind of this relationship that's beginning to develop and change, and I've really enjoyed that because yes, God of War's got a lot of action. There's a lot of slashing and hacking and chucking that axe and calling that axe back is amazing. It's such a great mechanic that
so good.
I never get tired of. And yeah, you just build up your character. There's lots of combat moves you unlock, but it's just the story, the way it's told, the acting, the graphics are outstanding. The sound is amazing. Just cannot recommend that game enough. Just love it.
Yeah, the whole game is done with one camera shot as well, isn't it? Like there's no loading screen.
It's very well hidden when you go between the realms. There's always something going on that makes you feel like...
It's one of the factors of the... Like, Cory Barlog, the director, stated that he wanted it to be a continuous camera shot throughout the whole game. So the second it starts to the second it ends, there's no cutaway. That's what I mean, like no fade to black type thing.
I know what you mean now with what happens between the realms, Just remember,
It's just...
So all the loading's masked.
Yes. Putting together a combo in that is so satisfying. Yeah. Like especially on some of the trials that you do, like it's so good. And the thing I liked about his boy, it's Atreus, his name, is it?
Yeah,
can't remember. Yeah, is that he's not annoyingly in the way. He's useful.
No, he's not.
Like games like that, it's so easy to be like you're Kratos and you're having to babysit your son, and you have to hold his hand around, but he's not. He's actually really useful, and you can bring him in for combos and bring him in for combat, and it's actually it's really well done.
My only criticism would actually be the boy's voice. I don't know what.
I think it grows on you, mate.
Yeah, it might do.
I left that game thinking I love that kid. You know what I mean? I think it grows on you.
Yeah, I just sometimes think, when they use like an American accent sometimes in games, I don't feel that it's well placed.
I like Kratos' voice. It's Christopher Judge, who was Teal'c in Stargate 1. He's really good.
Boy.
Yeah.
He's really good.
His grunts and everything is great.
It took me a while to get for it to click, to be honest. When I mean, I don't mean like 15 hours or anything like that, but it was a good few hours before I thought, no, that this is good. I think I can't remember the enemies, the Valkyries, maybe.
Yeah.
You got
And they
Dark
came into
Elves, and there's so many different
There's all
variations, and
sorts.
I obviously haven't seen all of it yet, so I've got that to come. But it just reminded me a little bit of The Witcher, where Geralt's voice at first I found that quite grating because everybody else was all the accents in that game I felt were really well placed, and then he had this American almost drawl.
But that was the Rivian accent, an American accent.
Yeah, to me it just didn't.
It's explained in the game.
Work. I know, it just didn't feel like it worked.
All the Witchers talk like him with an American accent.
It
never feels right when you get games set in ye olde time.
Yep.
That aren't because American, they don't have that history, whereas other parts of Europe do. Yeah. So it feels like it should be some form of European accent.
Exactly.
Or
it felt like I was
Middle
playing in The Witcher,
African or Middle Eastern African. Yeah.
In some of the Witcher novels, some audiobook versions, Geralt's Scottish. They made him Scottish, which it suits him a little bit, but it's so weird. I'm just so used because I've played all the Witcher games, and it's always been Doug Cockle's voice to me because that's the guy's name, Doug Cockle, which is such an incredible name for. Yeah, such a good name for someone. Geralt of Rivia, and his real name's Doug Cockle.
Wasn't there? Yeah. I think I remember reading a while back. Originally, the creator of it, I'm not sure if it was for God of War 3. It's not the sort of ending how he wanted to finish it. Would be like Kratos sort of wandering through a desert and just sort of following a light.
Yes.
And then the light would end up being a star, and it'd sort of bring him to like a stable, and it'd be like
I've heard that
the end of the old gods and the birth of sort of Christianity sort of thing, but must have been a bit too.
That's too verbose, isn't it? It's like I know. Let's make him walk from Greece to Norway and Scandinavia, and there'll be new gods.
I thought it was like an interesting.
Romans next
idea, though.
No, because they've hinted that it's going to be ancient Egypt, haven't they?
Well, no, I mean the next one is going to be like carry on.
Same,
but
yeah.
Don't want to get into spoiler territory. But I loved God of War, and what I liked about it as well was the it's like semi-open world, so you can kind of move around between places. Yeah, but it's not like it's not as big as something like Red Dead or something like that. It's
no.
You can't kind of move between areas. But yeah, I like that because it doesn't feel too overwhelming.
Yeah, it's perfect open world in my opinion. It's more of a Zelda style open world.
It's still linear. It's still linear, so you don't sort of lose track of what you're doing, and it keeps the pace.
The side quests are not paramount to the story if you don't want to do them. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, it is. It's
I recommend doing them, all of them.
Oh, I am.
They're all good. The side quests are all good.
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah,
it's not a hard platinum either, mate. If you want to go for it, cool. It's not hard at all.
But yeah, that's it. So, Stiggy, what have you been up to?
Me this week, I have been playing Paper Mario Origami King. Is it King? Yeah. So I apologise to everyone. This is quite a game-centric Nexus this week, but that's what we've been up
nerds.
to. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing this for a while, but I didn't want to touch on it until I kind of got into the game. So I didn't want to kind of get into the meat, the meat and bones of it before I'd got into it myself. But I'm pretty sure I'm right near the end now. I'm in the last world, and I'm making my way up to what is clearly the end boss. So I feel like I can talk about it a bit more. But I really enjoyed this game. It's not something that I thought I would have to start with because I've never played a Paper Mario before. I heard they've got the elements of RPG / what's the turn-based style.
Yeah, this is not a Super Mario. If you're not into gaming, this is not Super Mario running to the right side of the screen. This is completely different. It's
not like a 3D Mario either. So basically, the setup is the Origami King has taken over the land, and he's trying to turn everything, all the paper world, into origami. But to help you in your quest to stop him is his sister, Olivia.
Oh, she's so good.
Such a good character.
She's brilliant.
To start with, she was a little grating, I felt, because she was very intrusive with what you had to do and like trying to tell you how to play the game, which is understandable.
What, you mean the 3-hour tutorial?
Yeah, but after that one, she becomes like gets into her own little character, and like she's just adorable. Like some of the stuff she comes out with is funny, and you also have a few side quest allies with you throughout the game as well, which all offer up like their own kind of unique characters.
To me, though, Olivia is the narrator of the tale, because Mario doesn't speak, as we all know.
Yeah, no, Mario doesn't. He just reacts to stuff.
Yeah, because she's new to the world that they're inhabiting, it's perfect for her to discuss things that normal people wouldn't just sit and discuss together. It just makes it perfect for that. And she's so good. Because
like you said, she is new to the world. She's kind of been born into this world. And everything is fascinating to her. So she says things that you like Oodles says, like you won't even think about it, and then she comes up with it, and you actually, that's actually quite cute and quite a funny thing to say and to notice. Like she picks up on things, but even like the combat in this, so it is turn based in a way, but what it is kind of on turntables. So you have like you stand in the middle, and then you have like 4 turntables on the outside, and you've got to line up the enemies, and if you get them all lined up in a straight line or in a block of 4, you get like an extra bit of power on your attack. If you don't kill them all, they attack you. So even that, I'm not a turn-based player. Like I rarely play games like that. There's only been about 3 or 4 I've ever bothered playing. They just don't click with me, but this one does. And sometimes I do get a bit annoyed having to go into them, so I just use the toads to help.
Yeah.
Because
the best thing about it is, though, unlike most RPGs, there's no experience, so you don't technically have to fight if you don't want to.
No, you can't run away.
You're only doing it for money.
Yeah, you can run away if you want.
And
if you do run away, that enemy disappears. So it's not like they'll run away and then they'll have to come back in.
So there's no frustration really at all.
No, and I've just really been enjoying it. There's 6 different worlds in it. Each world is vastly different.
Good.
Yeah, it has all these different elements to it. Each world has like 2 different bosses that you have to face. There's like a mid boss and there's like an end boss to it. It's just really creative, really fun, and I've really enjoyed playing it. I would definitely recommend it to people if you do like Mario. I'd recommend it just for the characters.
The references as well, yeah.
Your references, because what this does is, because it's not like a normal Mario, all the characters kind of have their own little say. You can go and speak to them, and they talk to you about things.
So weird.
So even the who are usually traditional baddies, you're kind of working with them because of this.
They're kind of like Mario as well. They're like, oh my god, it's you.
Yeah, because Mario's like a celebrity. Yeah, he's like a celebrity to them. So because there's a big bad, they're kind of helping you out a little bit. But they'll talk to you about things that you wouldn't necessarily. None of this story stuff would be in there with a traditional Mario. So yeah, it's really good. I don't know what else to say about it.
I just want to say as well, one last thing about it.
It's really charming. It's really
the
well written.
The script, man. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, the script is brilliant.
I didn't expect it came out of nowhere. Love it.
It's so well written, and there are genuinely bits in this game that pack an emotional punch.
Yeah.
You are
literally, I don't like saying it, but literal laugh out loud moments. I was literally like in hysterics in some bits.
You don't get that with a traditional Mario game. I believe that it wasn't. I believe it wasn't actually Nintendo. Was it? Was it another publisher that did it?
I'm not sure.
Working with a Nintendo license. So, but there is also a load of proper little innuendos and things in there as well.
So good.
Yeah, like if it was a kid playing it, it would go over their head. But like as an adult, Olivia will say something because she's so innocent, and it gives you a proper good chuckle.
It's that Pixar humor, isn't it? Where adults are like, aha, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but you're not saying it.
Yeah,
I think
there's a few.
I was just going to say, I think I'm the only one here who hasn't got a Switch. I think even Gadget's got one as well, right? So
yeah.
I'm the only one that hasn't got one, so I'm going to
definitely need a Switch, mate.
And all of these.
Yeah, Switch is great. It's essential for me, really. I think I've played so many games on that I don't think I would have played it, like even though they're available on like PlayStation or PC. Just the ability to just pick up the Switch and just play whenever you want it's just essential.
It's so odd because the Switch is like the ultimate role-playing game console for turn-based games, and you don't play them.
Yeah.
You're missing out on so many golden games.
I don't like stuff like that. Nah. But yeah, with this game though, I think it's the charm and everything, and the colours and the art style and everything that really draws me in. Doesn't look like any other like turn-based RPG. It's just
it doesn't. No.
And there are a few things, there are a few bugs. It's not like a perfect game. There's a few things they could have done with it, just little things like the text. Like you have to literally read every bit of text. You can't skip through it. So you can't read it. You can't like skip it, read it yourself, and skip over. You have to like watch it go like and read every bit. And sometimes when there's a long bit of conversations going on, that does take a while, especially if you have died and then you have to go back to that area and redo that bit. It's a bit like, oh, come on, like I've already read all this.
So like, the combat, I've seen a few sort of videos, clips of the combat where you're sort of spinning enemies to line them up.
Yeah. So they're like on like a disc, like in different layers, and you spin them to line them up. Yeah. So
is that all the combat is throughout the game, all through?
No, what I was going to say, there's actually a few times where you're doing combat outside of that, which I really appreciated. So there's a few times where there's like big paper mache like monsters, and you have to like whack them with your hammer. So, but you're kitted out basically with a hammer, which you can get like different type of hammers, like a fire hammer, a shiny hammer,
metal hammer,
legendary hammer, metal hammer, and you also have like boots. So you jump on enemies, and again you get like. And you need to get like metal boots and different type of boots because some
little golf boots as well, little spiky boots.
If people are if enemies have got spiky bits on them, you need like the heavy duty boots to jump on them. But that's one of the other things I think they could have done a little bit more. They do allow you to use traditional Mario things like
they do,
flower power and the raccoon tail. You can bring and a POW, but I think that they could have maybe just added a few more weapons and stuff in, like the 10,000 arm grab.
Yeah.
So basically, there's parts in the game where you'll stand on a magic point and Mario's arms extend, and you do things like pull the.
His arms are like accordions.
Yeah.
So weird.
Or you unzip like something and stairs will fold out or a door will open up.
Yeah. Because the whole world is paper.
Yeah, the whole world's paper. It's really well done. Like when you open up a door, it's really cool because you can see like. It looks like a cardboard door. Like it all really, the aesthetic's brilliant. But I think they could have done a few more things with that rather than just always being the extendable arms. Like there are magical powers which you acquire later on that Olivia can use in battle, but you can't always use that. And I think for the environmental stuff, they probably could have done a few different things. Maybe they could have done like extendable legs or like just. I'm not really sure.
Doom
but
can, if you think like traditional RPG, like summons, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
there are like what we'd call summons, ultimate spells type things.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than that, like, it's fantastic. Loved it. I'm absolutely smashing its weekend. So the idea is to the Origami King has like wrapped up Princess Peach's castle in streamers.
And poor princess.
And you have to go to all these different areas and lands to basically get rid of these streamers so you can get into the castle. And this weekend I did 2 of them. So
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, some of the levels are quite big. Like you think you're near the end and something else will happen and you're like, there's still this to do. Yeah. But cool. Wholly recommended. I've enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favourite games I've played this year. So
yeah, it's really
looking
good.
Forward to finishing it. Probably get it done tomorrow, to be honest. Cheers for that, guys. Really interesting to hear what you've been up to this week. And now we're going to move on to the Modern Escapism section of the show. What I wanted to do this week, this is going to be a bit of a come down from last week, especially Oodles.
I can bring it back up if you want.
Yeah. Depends what films you're going to talk about.
No, I'm more reserved today, so don't worry.
Yeah,
you can drive your cars safely.
What I wanted to do this week was I really love film and I'm a big lover of film, and what I wanted to do was talk about films from the last decade, but avoid the blockbuster films, especially with what's going on at the moment with blockbuster stuff. I wanted to kind of talk about and champion those films that don't really get talked about much, or might just, there might be big films, but they aren't these big franchises. We're not going to talk Marvel, Star Wars. We're not going to talk about any hundreds of $1 million films or sequels and spin-offs to huge franchises.
Because there are a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to them one day. Trust me, I enjoy a lot of them. But
same.
This week I just wanted to hear more about the smaller film. I say smaller films because one of mine really isn't, but I had to talk
some
about
gross
it.
A lot, don't they?
Yeah, some gross a lot, but they aren't. They're not done on a massive $300 million budget.
Let's not forget Pulp Fiction's an indie movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's huge.
So if you were hoping to hear more about our love of Fast and the Furious, this ain't that pod. We'll be back.
That's next week.
We will be back for that one. Trust me. So Oodles, we'll start with you again. Tell us about the films from the last decade that you want to champion.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna lie either. I struggled to find some that really resonated with me, because in the last decade I've become a dad twice and stuff like that. Time's been a bit struggle. I've been struggling to get to the cinema, and obviously even now, no one's getting to the cinema anymore. But even leading up to I've been to see like your films like Star Wars and stuff. The event films. Yeah, I've seen them. I've seen Avengers and I've seen stuff like that. But I was looking through like an IMDb list of like the last decade of independent cinema and stuff like that, and I really did struggle. But the three that I've gathered here really jumped out at me. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go with what jumps out at me. And the first film I want to discuss is a type of film that I don't usually watch. It's a horror film. It's called The Witch. Yep. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have.
The Witch shook me to my absolute core when I first saw it. Now, I didn't see it in the cinema. I watched it on my own in my house. So a good year or so after it come out, it was one of those films that comes out at the cinema and then comes on demand quite fast, because some do, don't they? Especially indie films. They tend to come out on demand pretty. So I might have seen it the year it came out, or maybe the year after. But if you don't know what The Witch is, it's based on colonial New England in America, with the first generation of British settlers living in what we all assume to be New England at the time. It's based on about 200 years before the Salem witch trials. We all know about that, when women were falsely accused of witchcraft and the tragedies that befall those women. But this, rather than dealing on that, this plays it very seriously, this horror film. So there is witches in it. Yeah? So awful witches. And I'm not talking about Roald Dahl witches. I'm talking about witches that eat babies and stuff like that. Awful, unspeakable acts. And what really fascinated me when I first watched it, I've watched it twice now. When I first watched it, it's all the dialogue is spoken in accurate colonial British dialect from that time period. So it's not even ye old English. It's its own thing that's accurate to those people. Yeah. So there's obviously a lot of English accents to it, but they're speaking in almost Shakespearean in a way. I can't really explain it without you watching it, because I'm not an expert on that time period. But
I had subtitles to watch that.
Yeah, I did, mate. I did. Straight away, I was like, whoa. Like, you recognise words, but it's sometimes the context of how they say those words in a sentence. You know what I mean? It's so weird, and it just straight away had this ominous, because it starts pretty grim, to be honest. I'm not going to spoil any of the film for anybody, because it is a grim film.
Oh yeah,
it's not nice.
Very grim and eerie, and just
it's not pleasant. The soundtrack's very, very visceral and like really sparse. So there's a lot more sounds rather than a soundtrack, if you get what I mean. A lot of like brushed metal and violin plucking and it's really. I think when I talk about it, it frightens me a little bit because the film itself really had a lasting impression on me because it genuinely scared me. Films don't scare me, but one of my worst things in any media is child in peril, and there is child in peril on this.
Yeah.
And it really got to me. And what looking into this film, because I don't want to spoil the plot for you, but there's a cool goat in it. Pretty heavy
the
metal.
goat is
It's pretty heavy metal.
The goat is one of the stars of the film. I think the goat is actually credited as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really, really, really demonic heavy metal goat. It's so cool. But yeah, there's a few facts that I discovered while looking into the film for this show is if you look at the movie, how it's spelt VVITCH, like Vivitch, because back then the letter W wasn't a thing in English, so two V's was W, if you get what I mean. So if you look on the box art, it's VVITCH, which is just pretty cool. There's also a conspiracy or fan theory that the whole film is an hallucination from corn fungus called ergot. So at that time, you can see it in the film as well, and the camera pans to ergot in like rotten corn because they do say that there's a bit of a blight on the little farm that they live on. And
aren't they like struggling for food? Aren't they? Like they're basically being starved.
When corn gets blight, as we've seen on films like Interstellar and things like that, it can be mouldy, and ergot is one of the funguses that can really affect your brain and give you fucked up hallucinations. So that really fascinated me. Like, is it played seriously, or is it some kind of weird fucked up hallucination? But yeah, I definitely recommend you watch it rather than me chat about it. So have you guys seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it. Like I said, though, I like the fact that it kind of gives you a few different things to go away with.
Yeah,
like,
agreed.
Make your own mind.
There is some horrific scenes in it. It's not for the squeamish or anything.
I've seen it, but I don't share the same opinion as you. In that,
go on then.
I really didn't think this was a good film at all. In that I was just bored through it. Like,
I don't think it's an exciting film.
It wasn't that. It was just it never.
It didn't do anything for you.
It just couldn't capture my sort of attention. I tried to. I know a couple of people. Jeebus really liked it, and then I went to watch it again because I thought.
I mean, if Jeebus liked it, that's not a good barometer, eh?
Yeah,
makes me feel bad now.
How many Jeebus?
To be fair, knowing you three like it, he'll probably hate it now.
Yeah.
So. But I did try to watch it again, but it's just gone off every streaming service now. So hopefully it'll come back on coming up to Halloween.
It's one of those films that you just think, I didn't enjoy a single aspect of that, but it was a great film.
Can I just point out as well, because of the script, the cast were excellent, because they're obviously having to speak that dialect they probably weren't comfortable with. I thought they were excellent.
It stars Finchy from The Office. I can't remember the actor's name, but I'm like, that's Finchy. All the way through, I'm like, what's Finchy doing there? But yeah, it's really good. The kids in it are really good. The goat's really good.
So if you like that, the director Robert Eggers, his latest film, The Lighthouse, is outstanding, and uses a lot of that, like,
it does,
kind of colonial language as well, because of when it's set.
I like The Lighthouse a lot more, but I did.
I need to watch that.
The Witch lasted with me, if you know what I mean. It gave more of an impression on me, like, stayed with me, and to this day, it's probably that affected me scariest horror. It really stayed with me. Like, there's not slasher horrors don't scare me. Obviously, alien ones do, because I've told you before. Alien horror scares me, but no, this really, really frightened me in a weird way. Like, I watched it on my own as well, and my wife was like doing something else. Like, she sometimes has a iPad in another room, and I was like, I wish you were watching this with me because I'm getting scared. Do you know what I mean? Like, genuinely. But yeah, watch it. You might be like Doomik, and you might not like it, but you might be like Jeebus and love it. So go for it. The next one I want to chat about is a film that is probably in my top 5 films of all time. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. Now, the second anyone says that, everybody knows it. Everybody loves it.
So good.
This film exploded. It'd come out for a while and then it exploded. If you don't know what it is, it's about flat share vampires, basically.
Yeah, it's a mockumentary, isn't it? It's like
yeah, it's a mockumentary starring Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement and a few other of their friends. And some of them, it's the first acting gig that they've ever had, and they're brilliant in it because it's got that. Sorry,
Rhys Darby. He's in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Rhys Darby's in it.
Yeah.
It's got that Kiwi humour to it, which is almost British in essence. Very sarcastic, very on the nose. But it's played straight as well, even though it's a mockumentary. It's so good. Basically, these vampires are living in Wellington, in New Zealand, and they're just trying to live a normal life that any 500-year-old vampires can, that also need to drink human blood. It's just so good. It's like, how do you someone said to me, it's like Friends but with vampires. That's completely wrong. It's not like Friends with vampires. No. This is like, it's like the classic mockumentaries like Spinal Tap type thing, but Spinal Tap, that the guys in the band are playing it really straight as well, aren't they? Even though they're stupid. It's like that. It's so good. And it's just the fact that there's a backstory. There's a lore to the actual world that they inhabit. Like there are I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there are other creatures in this world that exist, and the whole plot revolves around this big gala event that they have every 100 years or whatever, and just hilarity ensues. But I've got some facts for this one as well. The 125 hours of the movie was shot, and 90% was completely improvised. Now, when you watch that film, if you think, "Fucking hell, this was improvised," because some of it is absolutely gold.
Yeah, it really is. Like some of the things they say is just so funny. Like the scene where he goes, "We're werewolves, not swearwolves." That's completely improvised. My favorite is he says they're talking about why vampires love virgins.
Yeah,
and he's like, do you know what? I'm gonna fuck this up now, but
paraphrase it. Don't worry.
He basically says like a virgin is like.
Would you eat a sandwich that's been fucked? Basically,
yeah. He's trying to make sure I got it right, but yeah, he basically like saying think of a virgin as like a sandwich, but like a sandwich that hasn't been fucked. Yeah,
yeah, that's why they like
something like that.
And there's a nice riff on the Lost Boys where he's like, "Do you like biscotti?" Do you know what I mean? They're worms. Oh, yeah. It's so funny. And the building used for the exterior shots were the actual offices used by Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson, which is just fascinating how small their little filming industry is in New Zealand, that everyone seems to know each other. And what really blew my mind is it took 9 years for the film to be made, from planning all the way to the finished recording. 9 years. It's incredible. And to say that barely any of the script was used. It's just...
I think they did like a short originally.
Yeah.
Somewhere you can find it. I think it might be on YouTube or something. It's like an original short or something they did, and then they were like, let's turn this into a film. And then since then they've done obviously there's a TV show that Gadget talked about in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Now there's also Wellington Paranormal.
Yeah.
So it's
Wellington PD. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like again a mockumentary about the strange goings on in Wellington with like the.
But it's the two coppers that are in this film as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and vampires.
Who were really funny as well. It's it's not horror at all, but there's some horrific things in it. There's a lot of blood, but it's just so funny. It's just so far. I mean, have you all seen it as well?
I have.
Yeah,
I watched it
okay.
recently. Yeah, I agree. It was so good. It's on Prime Video as well. If
It
anybody's
is.
got that, I want to watch it.
Yeah, it's on my
Yeah.
list of things to watch. So
It's that Kiwi comedy that it's very British. It sounds weird, but it's very British. It's very dry.
Yeah, it is very dry.
Yeah.
If you like Flight of the Conchords,
Yeah,
if you've
yeah.
seen them like that, you'll like the sort of humour that's in this.
It's so good.
I
but
just
yeah.
found that quote. I had to make sure I got it out properly because it's so good. When they're talking about it, he just says, "I think of it like this: if you're going to eat a sandwich, you would just enjoy it more if you know no one had fucked it."
Yeah,
It's just so out of the blue.
That's
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. But the last thing I want to talk about is not a film that I love, but I like a lot, and it's probably it's not really a big budget film actually, but it feels like a big budget film. It's called Split, which is an M. Night Shyamalan film.
Yeah.
It's this official sequel to Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Split is in the same universe. It's called the East Rail 177 universe, which, if you've seen Unbreakable, you know what that means.
Everything has a universe now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
It's the second of a planned trilogy. The next one's going to be called Glass. And if you've seen the film, obviously you understand why.
Glass is out.
Is it out? Oh,
Yeah.
That came out last year.
right.
It's shit.
Well, I've not been to the cinema. But yeah, Glass
it's
is
out
out.
on,
There you go. So I'll probably watch that tonight. Finally, I've been waiting so long. But yeah, what really the film itself didn't really grab me. It's the acting role of one person in particular, James McAvoy. Now, I'm not a big McAvoy fan, but in this, he plays a character called Kevin, who has split personality disorder. Now, he doesn't have it where it can be medically treated. This guy has it bad. Now, I think he has a total of like 30-odd personas that his mind goes into, and
Yeah.
some of them are absolute psychopaths. Some of them are all right. Like his own normal, I say normal in inverted commas, Kevin himself is quite a nice young man. But the acting chops of McAvoy, the work he must have put in to... And he doesn't portray all the personas. He only does about 6 or 7. But still, the job that he does... And one of them, and I'm not going to spoil it, but one of them is such an animalistic kind of persona that he taps into, and it's frightening. It really is frightening. And it's so... like, that man must have worked out so much. Like, he changes his body mass, basically. Without CGI, he looks like a different person in certain personas. He does one where he's a persona of a woman, like a middle-aged posh woman, and it's... You forget that it's McAvoy. You just think, oh, it's just a woman. It's so good, and it's not like he puts a wig on either. He just wears a dress. He's still got a bald head. So he's so. I don't know. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
His acting in that is the only thing I liked, to be honest.
Yeah,
The rest of
that's
it-
the
rest
main
of it I
thing
didn't
why
enjoy.
I'm bringing it up, because it's linked to Unbreakable in a stupid, crap way. It's probably
it's
linked.
awful the way they linked it. Awful.
Yeah, it's probably linked to Glass in a shite way as well. I didn't even know Glass was out. That's how.
I mean, Unbreakable's a great movie. I love that. thought
I
it
like
was
Unbreakable.
superb.
I didn't like that either. I don't think I'm a fan of his films in general, to be honest.
You don't like Signs?
I did at the time. When I first watched it. I haven't seen it since. But
What I don't like with his films is you expect a twist, and there always is.
He started doing films without twists, and then everyone was like, "When's he going to do a film with a twist again?" So
Yeah,
then you have to put a twist
where's
in.
the twist?
I actually like The Village. I enjoyed watching that. A lot of people
Yeah, The
don't like
Village
that
is
movie.
good.
I
I
enjoyed
like
it.
The Village. I think I'm a bit of a Shyamalan fan without being obsessed. But yeah, I just got some obviously facts with this. A man by the
factoids.
name of Billy Milligan became the first person in the history of the United States to be acquitted of a crime based on psychological condition. Billy suffered from what is now known as dissociative identity disorder, also called multiple personality disorder, and that's where he got the idea for Kevin in this film. Obviously, Billy Milligan was acquitted, but I'm not sure to the extent of his crimes. It wasn't planned initially when Shyamalan wrote the script for this film, and you can tell it wasn't planned to be linked to Unbreakable at all. And when you watch it,
I mean,
you can tell.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. When
it's like, let's put a little bit at the end.
Yeah, when they did the link at the end, I was just like, fuck off. The link, that link is terrible.
It really is.
But how do you get people more interested in it? Link it to one of your more successful films.
Yeah.
Now, if you've seen Glass, you'll have to explain to me if this is fact or fiction. But on every one of these films that he's made, I'm sure it's probably on Glass, the last words uttered in both the first two movies is Mr. Glass. So is that the last word in the final one, if you've seen it?
It wasn't that memorable.
Can't remember. Honestly, I thought Glass was awful, the worst of the three.
Is it really bad?
Oh, so bad.
So
bad.
But yeah, when reason I'm bringing this up is because it doesn't seem it, but it was only a $5 million budget, this film. And I bet $1 million went to McAvoy, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Should have done. It's the only thing that's...
He's really... Because I'm not a big fan I don't like him as Charles Xavier in X-Men.
Nope.
But he's really good in this, and that's what really set it apart. I'd rather it be an hour and a half of watching McAvoy get into the roles rather than the film, if you get what I mean. It's like a nice case study on an actor. Because that's some chops he's got for this, absolutely. But they're my three anyway. But as I said, I struggled to get these because I like a nice big AAA action romp as much as the next man.
We all love them, but you find some gems elsewhere. And Biggie, let's hear about some of your gems or some of the ones that you enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I was opposite to
It's not
Oodles.
Glass, is it?
If it is, then I'm just going to end the pod right now.
No, I mean, for me, there was just too much choice. It's like, if we could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours, we would. Personally, myself, I'm a bit like Stig. I love my movies. And I just tried to think of a few that just stuck in my mind for any reason. The ones I've chosen, I've gone with Sicario.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. So good.
Great show.
Has everyone seen it here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it came out in 2015. It's like a American action thriller. The name Sicario is actually Spanish for hitman, which kind of reveals quite a big plot point, but I don't think it'll ruin anything spoilers for the movie.
I think just looking at the box art on the DVD, you know exactly what you're getting into.
But again, the cast is excellent. It was directed by Denis Villeneuve. It stars Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin, amongst many others in the movie. It follows a principled FBI agent who's enlisted by a government task force to bring down the leader of a powerful and brutal Mexican drug cartel. The movie literally starts off with a bang and gets going from there. It's a really intense movie, but the cinematography is incredible. It just captures... I don't know.
It's what stands out most for me.
Yeah, it kind of makes...
so good.
I do not wish to offend anybody from Mexico, but it really does make Mexico seem really intimidating when they get the way it's filmed. It's just, the cinematography is fantastic. The soundtrack is amazing. The acting is superb. There's one particular scene which I won't spoil, but it's in traffic. And it was just...
That's so tense.
I've never been so tense watching a movie, I thought. It was just so well done. And I just literally cannot recommend this movie enough. It's just so well done. There is a sequel as it came out.
I've not seen it.
A couple of years ago, I think. It's, again, really good. Again, follows some of the characters. I won't reveal who. But yeah. I can't recommend this film enough. I really enjoyed it. It's a great thriller. Acting's superb. It's got twists and turns. But yeah, the cinematography is incredible.
Yeah, he's just a brilliant director, though, Denis Villeneuve. Like, again, like he's just on such a roll at the moment. He's got Sicario,
can't do any wrong, can
Arrival, Blade Runner. Now Dune looks like it's going to be epic.
It seems like he's on a different level. He's on a different plateau of like filmmaking. It's just completely. It's like he's transcended.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
His vision and like the cinematographers he's working with, they're just their eye for stuff is just so good.
So good. Give that man all the money.
I mean, even when they announced Blade Runner, I really wasn't interested because I'm such a fan of Blade Runner. But I enjoyed Blade Runner. I thought
he made me like the sequel more than the original.
Yeah, you're right. What he did with that movie was superb. So, moving on, the second choice for me is The Raid.
Yes.
Has everyone seen this?
What a film.
Yeah. Okay. So
I've seen it about 40 times.
Ever.
It's
so good.
I come from a background of I grew up watching Jackie Chan movies.
I thought you were going to say I come from a long line of kung fu experts then.
Which I also no. But I was always in the sort of the Jackie Chan side where people go Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, and so on. I admired Bruce Lee. I thought he was incredible.
It's probably one of the first conversations we actually had online, Biggie, about Jackie Chan.
Yeah. And I just fell in love with Jackie Chan, grew up with him. He was an incredible actor.
He's the daddy.
His movies, his backlog of movies are incredible. And I didn't think that sort of action could really be topped because that guy's put himself through hell to entertain the world.
He's broken himself.
Yeah, so much. So much. I hope that guy somehow lives to enjoy his retirement. But
absolutely.
When The Raid turned up, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, really. I didn't know anything about the actor. I didn't know anything about the directors. It just sort of came up on my radar. Somebody said, you should watch this. And it's an Indonesian action thriller. It came out in 2011.
Yep.
Directed by a Welsh guy, Gareth Evans. Which really threw me as well, because it seems like such an odd combination. That,
it's a Welshman doing it in Indonesia.
Yeah. But it's based on the martial art of silat, practiced in Indonesia. And it stars a guy called Iko Uwais. I'm not quite sure if I pronounced that right.
I think you did.
He is just incredible. The film basically is centered on him. He's part of an elite squad that have to infiltrate a high-rise building that's run by a drug lord, located in the sort of slums of Jakarta in Indonesia. And as they go in, they get spotted by a scout that works for the drug lord. And so the building just becomes on lockdown, and then basically the elite squad have to survive in this building to obviously save themselves, save any of the residents in there, and hopefully take out the drug lord. It's quite a basic plot. It's been done before in different ways. And weirdly, we were talking about this in the Discord, that the movie Dread came out
the unofficial
the
sequel.
same time.
They have like the same kind of
exactly the same plot. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I think The Raid came out first, didn't it? But there were
they're also being made at the same time. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was just such a weird.
It's very
like Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Yeah.
It's very video game like type, isn't it? Like moving from one level to one level to the next, like meeting different. They kind of do meet different bosses as they go up, don't they? Like
There's
they get up.
The famous IGN review where it states that The Raid is the best video game movie of all time. That's not based on a video game.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it though. You can see where like that influence comes from.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like
He levels up as well. Do you know what I mean? He gets stronger.
You just cannot explain just the action of this movie. You cannot. It's just incredible. I cannot believe what they pull off in this movie. The stunts,
the choreography is.
It's just insane. Some of the moves, some of the hits, you just look at it, you just think there's just no way that didn't hurt somebody. It's just incredible what they've
The film broke a record for the most plastique used, because when they fire guns, they're obviously little timed explosions that they have on set, and it broke the record for the most plastique used for bullet holes in any film ever. Which is incredible.
A lot of the choreography is sort of inside rooms or corridors, so the environment is really tight. So the moves are so quick and so close, and you feel every punch.
It's like
kick.
ballet sometimes, isn't it? It's such choreographed,
but it's so fast as well, and it doesn't. I could be wrong, but to me, it doesn't look sped up at all. It's just
No, I don't
lot
think
of
it is at all.
a lot of work has gone into this movie from the
Incredible.
choreography.
It's funny. I think they only made Gareth Evans. He only made this movie because it was a sort of cheap film to make, so that he could raise enough money through this film, so he could make the sequel to it.
Yeah,
the sequel's incredible. It's insane. It's insane.
It is. You didn't think they could top it, and they did. And even the story, there is.
The sequel's completely different now.
We've hardly had to talk about the plot of the Raid, but the Raid 2 is just this whole drawn out,
It's so mental.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need the plot for the Raid, for the first one at all.
Not at all.
It's a very simple plot, completely fine, but the action just holds everything together so well.
Something else that's really good as well, also written and directed by Gareth Evans, was the Sky Atlantic series, Gangs of London.
Yeah,
really?
I really need to watch
yeah. Especially the first episode.
If you like the Raid, watch the first episode and you'll think, oh yeah, this is Gareth Evans, definitely.
You can tell just with the choreography.
I heard of the show.
Brilliant.
I just didn't realise.
It's excellent.
Another one for you, Biggie, if you like the Raid, is because some of the same actors is The Night Comes for Us. You seen that?
No.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it, but I've heard good things.
It's brutal. It's bloody. It's the martial arts in it is it's on the the level of the Raid. Not as good, but it's still really that kind of stuff going on. It's really.
Do you know how I got told to watch the Raid? Someone said to me, they were like, "Do you know how you really like Old Boy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love Old Boy." He's like, "Do you know that cool scene in Old Boy? Imagine that being a full film." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, that's basically it. That's what it reminds you of. Yeah, the hammer scene in the corridor.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, I'm in." And
Yeah,
I was like, "Holy shit, this is better than Old Boy."
Yeah.
But I mean, the sequel even ups the ante with the stunts. You got vehicles
so odd, that
involved. It's a bit long. It's a longer movie. There's a lot more plot and drama in it.
Yeah, it's fascinating how different it is. It's as if the first film's the trailer to the second film.
Yeah, totally.
So weird.
But it's definitely watchable.
I'll get it watched.
I really do. Really, really do. Third choice for me is very similar to what Oodles was talking about. Is a horror movie for me. It's called Hereditary. And
I've not seen it.
In 2018, I think it was. I'm going to probably go for a shout for that.
Yeah.
But it's directed by Ari Aster. It was his first movie. He's gone on to do Midsummer, which came out, I think, last year. But Hereditary is just something else. It's, again, an American horror movie, but it's really centered around grief. The main character, which is Toni Collette, her mother passes away. Her mother is quite this sort of overbearing, eccentric mother that had this sort of relationship with the family. And as the funeral, it starts off with the funeral of what happens to the family, how they deal with the grief. And then certain things are then revealed as the movie goes on. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything for this movie, but the acting by everybody in this is incredible. And how Toni Collette didn't get an Oscar for this role.
Oh, she's so good in it.
I cannot understand.
She is unbelievable in this
How
film.
Scary is it?
It's unnerving. It's like The Witch. It has moments in it that you don't expect.
Yeah.
I didn't find it scary.
It's not jump scary. It's unsettling all the way through.
That's making me want to watch it more.
And I really walked away from that movie. I had to watch it literally a few days later and watched it again. It stuck with me. There was something about that story. I've been through grief myself. Obviously not what else happens in the movie, but there was just something about that movie just stuck with me. I couldn't stop thinking about it for days, which is very rare for me. I can appreciate a great movie, but this stuck with me. I recommended it to my mates. They watched it. They came away, said they loved it, didn't like the ending, and I was just like, really? And
similar to be honest.
It's just something about it just resonated, and I don't know why, but I loved it. And Midsummer, the sequel. Cut that. It's not a sequel. It's his second movie. Again, has different themes. It's brilliant. It's just, I recommend.
I'm definitely gonna slap Hereditary on my little list. Then
you should. It's on Netflix. Oodles.
It is.
I thought it was one of those Insidious type films.
No. It's
Annabelle.
Slow burner. It's a slow burner.
Yeah, the first half
builds and builds.
Okay, I'll watch it
tomorrow.
The
first half is the tension. The first half just builds so much, doesn't it? Like like they said, it takes its time to get to where it wants to go, but when it hits a certain point, from there onwards, it just kind of ramps up everything into the
It's
horror,
just
into
so
the horror part.
Unsettling the way things are cut, the lingering camera angles, the way the environment is used, the editing, the sound. I just felt constantly on edge watching it, but in a good way.
Cool.
You know, you just
The
was
sound
riveted.
is perfect.
Yeah, and again, cast was amazing. But cannot recommend that movie enough. And Midsummer, if you haven't seen it, I really recommend that too. Really, really good. I can't wait to see this guy's work, what he does next. Really can't.
Brilliant. There's some great films there, Biggie. Some of them that I absolutely love as well, so I wholeheartedly recommend them. Doomy, what have you got to share?
Well, the film I'm bringing to the table is it's a film I watched this year. It was released last year, but it actually won the Oscar for Best Picture at this year's Oscars. It's called Parasite.
Oh.
It's called Parasite. It's a South Korean film by director Bong Joon-ho.
Great.
It's a hard film to talk about for anybody that hasn't seen it.
Which is me, by the way.
Yeah, I don't, because I watched this having no idea about the film, other than the title and the fact that it had won the Oscar.
That's the best way to go into it. I think
is.
everybody who's seen this says, I don't know what it's about, because if you don't want to read anything about it, but it's so worth watching it without knowing what it's about.
It is better going in blind, because like I said, I just knew the title of it and what I was imagining the film to be based on that title.
I'm sure there's a film that came out a few years ago before this called Parasite as well. It's about like some underwater kaiju thing.
No.
It's not that, is it?
It's not that, no.
It's far removed from that.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, he did do a film about an underwater kaiju called The Host.
The
Host, yeah.
And that was awesome
really?
too.
Yeah, that's a good film, yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I'll try and sort of give a bit of a premise to this film without sort of spoiling any of it. It's about a poor South Korean family. They all live in their sort of tight, cramped basement flat together. And one member of the family, the son, he gets a job as an English tutor, work for the daughter of a wealthy Korean family. So the rest of his family then, fraudulently, they manage to acquire jobs working for the same family as sort of a maid or a chauffeur. And then sort of certain events take place throughout the movie, and the sort of plan starts to fall apart. It's such a good film, and it manages to get so many different genres into one film as well. I found, there's comedy, thriller, horror, sort of love story, so much in one film.
Yeah. He does that so well, the director. Though, if you've
is he
seen
the guy that
work,
did Snowpiercer? Am I getting it
It
wrong?
is.
Yeah,
it is.
I love Snowpiercer.
It is, and like Snowpiercer, there's a sort of mirrors that sort of social divide between the rich and the poor.
Basically, Snowpiercer is
a massive
like
theme, definitely.
gentrification / Willy Wonka, isn't it? It's weird.
And it's such a visual film, Parasite. And he's known for sort of storyboarding all his films, Bong Joon-ho. So he knows exactly how he wants everything to look like on every shot, and you can tell. And there's so much to pick up from within the film. It just makes it completely rewatchable. And I think anytime you watch it, you're going to come away and you think, oh, do you know what? I noticed that this time, though. There's a little Easter egg or something, a metaphor within it. For example, there's a noodle dish that they cook in the film, and it looks fucking delicious. So I was like, right, I want to find out what this noodle dish was and make it. So it's basic. Well, you're not far off. You're not far off, to be fair, because it's basically 2 different packets of noodles, right? And I've got them here actually because I've made it. So it's a packet of Jjapaguri noodles, and a packet of Niyoguri noodles. Together, they are Jjapaguri, which is the name of the dish.
Brilliant.
So it's basically those 2 noodles combined, and then they add a steak on top of it, like chopped up steak mixed into it.
I'm getting hungry.
It's only since I've sort of looked into the dish itself, because I didn't notice this when I was watching the film. I didn't pick up on it. But the steak that they use is called Hanu beef, which is the Korean version of sort of Wagyu. It's pound for pound more expensive than Japanese Wagyu beef.
Wow.
So it's sort of, you've got your poor people's noodles and the rich people's
pure
like
steak.
steak. So
wow, that's brilliant.
It's sort of like it's like a metaphor for the film itself. Those two combined, which I just
talking
thought
about,
like
it sounds weird, right? You're literally talking about noodles, and you're making me think I need to watch this film.
Oh, I mean,
that's so weird.
When you mention Snowpiercer, to me, that's quite, the acting is very sort of over the top and exaggerated.
It's Hollywood as fuck, isn't it?
You take Parasite, the acting in that is just something else.
The acting is so fantastic. The dialogue is exceptional.
Yeah,
it's one of my top 10 films easily. It's so good, so good.
Korean cinema's like exploded, hasn't it? In the past like 20 years, it's like Korean cinema. That's the way to go.
And I'm such a firm believer in not watching dubbed movies. You must get the
absolutely
I wouldn't dare watch it
actual
dubbed. I wouldn't dare.
Performance. No, you have to get the performance from the actors, and that's why a movie like Parasite wouldn't work if it was dubbed. It's all about the delivery. It really is.
And it absolutely deserved its Oscar as well.
Yes,
absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Incredible.
Totally agree.
Incredible.
Great film.
I want to watch it.
I've seen it 3 times,
actually.
but
do you want to watch it with me, Doomy?
Love to.
You bring the noodles, I'll bring the steak.
You bring the Hanu beef.
That steak thing is just blown my mind. I didn't even pick up on that.
There's so much in there, like that if you read up about it, there's just.
Am I going to get obsessed with this film?
You could do, because like I said, you could see
even
so much in the film.
Look at the poster of the movie as well, the official poster. I
didn't even know about it. How have I missed this? How have I missed it?
Your thumb isn't
Finger
on the
is
pulse.
not on the pulse, is it?
Yeah.
But you should 100% watch Parasite.
How can I watch it? Is it available to rent or?
You could probably rent it. I think it's about £5 on DVD or £10 on Blu-ray.
I might just buy it. I might just go on a
whim.
It'd
be worth it.
It'd be
worth it because you will watch it. Like you'll get your money's worth.
Yeah. I'll bill you if I don't like it, but I know I will.
You will. I'm kind of going against what we're talking about here. Obviously, we're talking about the last 10 years, but I recommend watching Memories of Murder as well, which is one of his other films. That's from it's really hard to get hold of in this country. But if you do get the chance to see that, the style is very similar with the taking very serious subjects, but also injecting a bit of humour into it in places.
Maybe I should genuinely just go through his back catalogue and.
Oh yeah, you should do. I've enjoyed every single film of his that I've watched. Yeah. He did Okja as well.
Yeah, I know he did that. Yeah.
So is that your only one, Doomy?
That's it for me.
I think that's all he needs because he's won, hasn't he?
It is because it's a perfect film. It's an absolutely brilliant film.
What have you got, Stig? Because you're a real cinema nerd.
I'm going to go through 3 films myself.
I'm worried about this.
Well, you shouldn't be. They're nothing way out there.
Okay.
One of them, yeah. Especially my last one. Just as far as
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
A little indie film called Fast and the Furious. 5. No, so my first film is a film called Your Name.
Oh, yeah.
This is a film by Makoto Shinkai. It's about 2 high school schoolers called Mitsuha and Taki. They're 2 complete strangers. They live separate lives. She's like a small town girl trapped in like this small town in the middle of like nowhere, who dreams of like a life in Tokyo.
Just like the Journey song, Small Town Girl.
Yeah. And he's he's a boy from Tokyo. But one night, so they switch. So this is a body switching film, body swapping film.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah, but like a lot better. So
Whoa.
So Mitsuha, obviously, she wakes up in Taki's body, and he wakes up in hers. This bizarre occurrence continues to happen randomly to them. Doesn't happen every night. It just keeps happening random stages. It seems to all center around when a comet flies past the Earth, so that seems to be like the trigger point. But so she's kind of bound to where she lives because of her dad. He's the mayor of this town. The family is also very traditional. So when she gets to switch his bodies, she has a little bit of fun with it. She kind of like plays around with his life a little bit and his love life and stuff like that. So when they switch bodies, they don't know what the other person's done. So they'll come back the next day and all the friends will be like, "Oh, you were acting weird yesterday. What was going on?" And they're like, "I don't know. I have no memory of like what I did yesterday."
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So eventually they figure out how to communicate. They figure out what's going on. They work out this isn't a dream. This isn't something that's going on in our head. This is actually happening. We are switching bodies. So they figure out a way to communicate with each other, like leaving notes and updating the calendars on the phone and taking pictures and stuff like that so they can show the other side what's going on. But there's a massive message in this film about time and memories and cherishing the moments you have. Like, that's throughout the whole film. The whole thing's like steeped in this message of time and the red string of fate. So do you know what the red string of fate is? It's like an old Chinese proverb about an invisible red cord that's like tied around one finger and another finger at the other end.
Oh yeah,
and like
yeah.
The two people are destined to meet.
Yeah.
Their situation.
Regardless.
They are their true loves, and this cord will bring them together.
Yeah.
That cord actually at one point in the film it is actually represented physically as well. There's a moment in the film where the red cord comes into play. But yeah, it's such a unique love story. It's because the characters fall in love and they never actually meet.
Yeah,
So,
you see, I started watching this not so long ago, but I didn't stop because I didn't like it. I stopped because I had to go somewhere, and I just never came back. But when I was pretty engrossed, I think I must have watched about half an hour, and something stopped me from going back. When it just slips your mind.
yeah. But
Especially when you've been on a Netflix binge and stuff like that. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, I think it's still on Netflix, so it's definitely
you should
definitely finish it off. But I just absolutely love this film. I should have started this by saying this is a Japanese animated film.
Oh, it looks incredible though.
But yeah, it is one of the best looking animated films I've ever seen. But the story,
You instantly forget it's a cartoon.
Yeah, the characters, the music, it's so enjoyable and emotional. I could run out of descriptive words to use for this, to be honest. It's just
colourful.
It's beautiful to look at. There's
is.
parts in this film that is so stunning, that really affect you, and it's got like a hypnotic charm to it. It's a film that did bring me to tears twice.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and it's something it just has something about it I don't think any live action film could achieve. I don't know what that is. It's just this story between these two people. There's obviously we're not going to spoil anything, but so I can't really say what happens later in the film. But there's a moment later in the film which is just so perfect and pure.
Oh wow! I'll definitely finish that off then. Yeah.
What's it called? This film?
Again.
I'm going to add it to my watch list.
It's called Your Name.
Not called Doomakan. It's actually called Your Name.
He's just written that down.
Name.
He's written Doomakan down.
and there's a reason that Your Name. Your Name is again. It's all about that. About the time and cherishing and your memories and stuff like that. It all comes into play about why it's called that. But it's if you like Studio Ghibli films, this is like up there, top tier. It is top tier storytelling and animation.
Usually, anime films tend to be a lot cheaper to make than like big Hollywood blockbusters. But is this is it an independent movie, or I'm not trying to kibosh your suggestion because I don't care either way. Because I like it. Regardless. But
is it a Studio Ghibli movie? Is it by them?
It's not like it isn't a
because it's still technically
film.
independent. If it is Studio Ghibli, it is independent.
Yeah, because it's not Studio Ghibli.
No.
So Your Name was. Sorry, I'm gonna have to find this out now.
Some of these anime films they cost millions, but some of them don't, and it's not always to do with the money. that's thrown at it? Because if it's not just robots smashing each other for 40 minutes, sometimes you can cut corners and spend a lot less.
So I cannot find what the budget was. I've put it into Google there.
20
It
quid.
is no, but I don't think it was a lot of money, but it actually grossed. It's Japan's biggest grossing animated film ever.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it
Wow.
took
More than Spirited Away.
What about Akira?
25 billion yen, which is
Wow.
equivalent to $357.9 million.
Wow.
And that's a recent movie.
No,
right?
that was worldwide. Sorry, that's what it took worldwide. But yeah, it's
All right.
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise.
And we've all slept on it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
have,
Oh,
yeah.
it's just stunning. It's a masterpiece. It got completely ignored at the Oscars
Because
for
it's a
some
cartoon,
reason.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. No, because Studio Ghibli's and the
Yeah, it's true.
the animated Oscar, it should have, because it's better than anything that came out that year.
Did something like Toy Story win instead?
No, I cannot remember what it won. What won
Cars
that.
3.
But no, God no. Yeah, but it's got a third act and a movie ending sequence, which is one of my favorites ever. Just
Cool.
It's
I'm
perfect.
definitely into that.
yeah, and again, like I would say, with most of these things, as we've already said, watch it in Japanese with the subtitles,
Yeah.
just because I've seen the English dub and it's not very good. Sometimes English dubs aren't bad, but this was clearly, because it wasn't a massive film when it was originally made, the English dub and the acting isn't very good,
Mm-hmm.
but the Japanese is. And also, like the soundtrack is brilliant. Radwimps did the soundtrack for this, and they did everything. So they composed the whole thing, and the way they did it was each member of the band was given a section of the film, and said,
that's cool.
and they said, "You go away and do the odd bit. I'll go away and do my bit. You go away and do that bit," and then they brought it all together, and made it all fit.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's got this really unique soundtrack. But it's not like obviously all completely different.
Yeah,
Everything
no,
like really works, and the piano music in it is really beautiful. So yeah, Your Name, definitely check that one out.
Will do.
My second one, which again was criminally ignored, I think, in award season, is a film called You Were Never Really Here. So this is it's a 2018 film directed by Lynn Ramsey and stars Joaquin Phoenix. It's about a traumatized veteran but he's unafraid of violence, and he's now gone into the business of tracking down missing girls for a living.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he takes on a job which kind of starts to spin out of control, and it starts to unveil a conspiracy, starts to uncover, but it kind of leads to a bit of an epiphany with him, like the way what's happening. But this pretty much sits right up there with my favourite films from 2018. Well, it was released in the UK in 2018, but it's one of those films that just drew me in from the get-go.
I've seen it on Netflix as well. I've seen it advertised on Netflix.
I've seen it there.
It's such a stunning opening shot, like wonderful score, like a really hypnotic kind of opening. It really draws you in. It's one of those ones where, again, it's like the directing, editing, cinematography. It's art rather than just calling it good or really great. It's pure art.
I do like Joaquin Phoenix as well. I'm big into him.
I think he's been on a great run the last few years.
Yeah,
I think he always has
Yeah.
been.
Well, he kind of just went off a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Side projects, but like the last
Yeah.
few years, like everything I've seen him in, I've really enjoyed and thought he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
I really liked him in The Gladiator. I thought
Yeah.
he
Loved him in Gladiator, yeah. Brilliant.
was
Yeah, he was
understated
good
in
in
that,
that.
really. It was all
Walk
about
the Line. He was brilliant in Walk the Line.
Brilliant
Yeah.
in Signs. Telling you.
It was great.
Yes.
Joker.
In this, yeah, obviously, winning awards for the Joker and everything. So, but he's not. Again, he is incredible in this.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those performances for me where you don't see the actor. You see the character.
That's what you want, though, don't you? Really?
Yeah,
These
where
big method actors.
Yeah, where you're transported out the film and thinking, I'm not watching Joaquin Phoenix here. You are seeing the character, and it's such a good performance. The use of colour and lighting is amazing. There's one scene that takes place in the lake. Everything about that is just cinema perfection. Just the use. Yeah. I also really like the way that this because it's a brutal film because of the type of nature obviously he does. He's tracking down a missing girl, so this guy has to beat people up and kill people to work his way to this this missing girl.
Yeah.
But I really like the way that Lynn Ramsey decided to show this. So without like films like John Wick and Taken, they're enjoyable, but they're glorifying showing how that violence is and showing
snapping bones and like resting on the bones sticking out of the arm and stuff.
Yeah,
like
those films are one of the enjoyable things about them is watching the violence and watching all the kick-ass action. Whereas this really holds back. It only shows you snippets. You don't even see some of it. You have to fill in your imagination. There's a bit with a hammer where all you hear is a sound, but from the sound that it's just utterly
it's
brutal.
Hitting something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's brutal and hard hitting, but you don't have to see it all to be effective.
I like that.
Yeah, it's great. I wrote a thing on something about it, and I said it's haunting, harrowing, and an existential film that infiltrates all your senses, and I loved it.
Is that on the movie poster? Yeah.
No, that's just what I said when I wrote it.
All right. That's really good. That's cool.
Yeah,
you should put that on the poster.
You should put that on the poster, obviously.
That's really good.
Modern escapism, yeah. And finally, after we're completely changing gear here. My last film is Paddington 2.
Paddington 2?
Paddington 2. Oh, yeah, the bear. I had thought long and hard about this. Yep, I thought long and hard about what I was going to say about this. I've got all these honourable mentions, which I'm going to quickly mention at the end, and they're all brilliant films. But I just wanted something this is the perfect film.
Paddington 2?
Paddington 2 is
Are you on drugs?
Quintessential.
I've heard good things about it.
The quintessential perfect film.
What?
If you're feeling down and you want to feel happy, you watch Paddington 2. It is amazing. If you find me a person who thinks, apart from Jeebus, because he probably hates it.
He probably hates the bit where Paddington flies into the Death Star and destroys it.
So this stars Ben Whishaw is Paddington.
Yep.
Perfect voice. It's got Hugh Grant, Brendan Gleeson, Hugh Bonneville, and Sally Hawkins, and then just a glut of other English and British actors.
Mm-hmm.
So this takes place, obviously, Paddington's now settled down with the Browns, and he decide to start doing odd jobs, to earn some money so he can buy his Aunt Lucy a present.
Right.
But the present he wants turns out to be actually something really valuable that no one apart from the bad guy knows about. So when he steals it, Paddington's framed and ends up in prison.
Shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like Shawshank, but with Paddington.
So Paddington, what
That's
Paddington manages to do though is because of it's like I said, this is the perfect film. It's brimming with charm. It's funny. It's exciting. There's even a part of it that's quite harrowing at one point near the end. But if you want to smile while you watch a film, this Paddington 2. It's so heartwarming. It's so good.
Does Paddington lock himself into the warden's office and play some music for the whole prison yard?
No.
Well, he should.
But he does introduce the prisoners to marmalade sandwiches.
Oh, right. Well, he can't beat that.
And that.
I'm into that.
Yeah, that makes swings him onto his side.
As long as the sandwiches haven't been fucked beforehand.
You what? Sorry. I missed that, but I'm taking it as some kind of lewd joke. How dare you say that about Paddington? He is pure. But
hang on though, because I've sorry to distract, but I've seen the first Paddington, and I was like, oh, this is good. So Paddington goes to a human prison.
Paddington goes to a human prison.
I'm trying to grasp this, because obviously it's a world
Paddington
where people don't care. There's a talking bear.
Yeah,
there's a talking bear. But aren't they like? Hang on, right? He's as much as he is the smartest non-human on the planet, clearly, because he can talk and speaks perfect English. And I think he's from Peru as well, isn't he? For a Peruvian.
Yeah, the deepest, darkest of Peru.
Yeah, he speaks perfect English and he's well spoken and stuff. But still, I'd have reservations of having a bear in prison with me, because surely he's the most dangerous thing in there. He's a bear.
Called zoos.
Oh, well, they don't like that. They don't like that. But he's a bear. He could ravage them.
He could do. He's only a tiny bear, though, isn't he?
Maybe he does, Oodles. Maybe he does. No spoilers here.
That's true. But he says a tiny bear, but do you want to fight a little koala bear? And I know they're not technically bears, but koala bears are only tiny and they could rip your throat off.
Yeah. Nah, it's a kid's film, isn't it? So you got to take, obviously...
It could have been an extended version of it. Prison hard cut.
I've seen it many times. It's just one of them films that my son wanted to watch over and over again, and it is good, to be fair.
Really?
It is good.
Yeah, it is a decent film.
I'll tell you what, wait till Christmas Day. Watch it with your kids on Christmas Day.
They won't watch that. They'll be playing Fortnite upstairs and stuff. They're not like your kids, my kids. They're not quaint.
But no, it's just a film. Like, everything has a purpose. Like, nothing's like wasted.
Yeah.
Everything has a payoff.
I get it. But
the prison section of the film is great. The breakout is like such a fun. That's not a spoiler, but it's that's how he gets out of prison. He breaks out, but it's so good. Like, the prison breakout is really
behind
good.
a poster, yeah, and he crawls through shit for 2 miles.
But yeah, Hugh Grant as well is fantastic.
Do you know what? Film. I like Hugh Grant. People don't like him. I like him.
He's so charismatic as the villain. You can tell he's having an awesome time doing this part. Like, you can tell he just rocked up and was like, "I'm just going to have such fun with
The
this
Gentleman?
Part." Yeah, it's
he's
like
really
that,
good in that.
Where he's clearly just having like a really good time playing this non-typical Hugh Grant role.
Yeah, bumbling, tripping up over some apples. Ooh.
But like, I mean, he does. It's a bit meta in a way because he kind of plays this washed-up actor. Like, Hugh Grant's not like particularly washed up, but for a long time he wasn't exactly doing much, was he?
No.
But he can't seem to let it go, so he uses all of his old stage disguises and like roles and all the get up and everything to like fool people. So he's constantly playing like different characters throughout the film.
Oh.
So he's having a good time. He's brilliant. It's probably the best thing I've seen him in a long time, to be honest. I just love Paddington. I just think he's brilliant.
I don't
the character. I think the character's like there to. He's one of those ones where he sees the good in everyone. Like,
in my head, Paddington's
even in the
same as Winnie the Pooh, but he's not same as Winnie the Pooh, is he?
No. He just like even the prisoners. He won't like he gives them a hard stare when they say something wrong. That's about all they get because he sees that he can like kind of change them and
does he get a tattoo?
No. Like he
starts heroin in prison, just
oh god.
Just downfall of
he smuggles in a little phone.
You know what I mean? Like it's a character that's like I said, he searches for the good in everyone and the innocence in the world, and like it's a really good message for children and probably for some adults, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe I'm just too dark for this. I'm too twisted.
I think I think both Paddington films are brilliant family films.
I've seen the first one. I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't think anything.
Yeah, I did. But I think the second one is particularly. I don't have a bad word to say about that. But that's what I just wanted to. Mention Paddington.
You've thrown me off with that, mate. You absolutely thrown me off.
Rather than all these like Oscar-worthy films and stuff like that, which, don't get me wrong, have their place in this podcast. But I just wanted to end on that on the delightful note of Paddington 2.
Escape from Alcatraz.
And just before we move on to the final section, the Inquisition, I'm going to throw a few memorable honourable mentions that because I could have gone on for days and days and days about these films. So these are all films from the last decade, which I would have give a perfect score to. The Lighthouse, Black Swan, Lion, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh yeah,
which I nearly talked about, but
good film.
Yeah, Train to Busan is a brilliant film. It's a zombie film that takes place on a train, but it just does so many good things with when cinema was kind of full of zombie films. This went and did something different, and it's really enjoyable. In Bruges, hilarious.
Oh yes,
yeah, great movie.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yep.
Taika Waititi film. It's a beautifully funny film. Get Out,
Yes.
Room, Moonlight, Captain Fantastic, Whiplash, and Nightcrawler.
Oh, Whiplash.
Brilliant. Nightcrawler is outstanding.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I could have picked any one of those films, but Your Name was always the one I wanted to make sure that I brought to people's attention. You were never really here as well, and like that said, the last one, I could not.
Paddington 2.
I could not think. I could have gone on about, but I just wanted to talk about Paddington 2. I just thought that deserves.
I've learned something from you today, mate.
That deserves some attention. So
I have to watch it now, don't I?
Yeah, because if I'd have put it in that list, Paddington 2, oh yeah, fine. But I thought, no, actually, I'm going to talk about why I love this film.
It would have been. It would have seemed more out of place if you'd have just put it in that list of other titles at the end.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Without talking about it.
Yeah, these are all these like
that's a
really
good one.
renowned films and
I'm
everything.
really
And Paddington
looking
2 is really
forward-
renowned, but
I'm looking
it's just-
forward to the feedback on Paddington 2. I think that's going to really not isolate anyone. I think it's just going to shock them like, oh, Paddington 2.
I just don't think films should be dismissed because they're children's films.
Of course not.
If they're well written and they're well done, like that, they deserve the place to be talked about.
I still state, and people don't like it, but
films.
I still think Toy Story 2 is a masterpiece.
I love all the four Toy Story films, even the fourth one. People said they didn't like it as much.
I think 2's perfect for a family film. 2 is incredible.
So those are some of the films from the last 10 years that are not on the blockbuster scene that we all thought were worthy of talking about and bringing to your attention. We hope that you go out there and watch some of these films. And if you do, send us some feedback on what you thought. Or if you've seen them already and you agree with us or disagree with us, again, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But for now, we're going to head into the Inquisition for those people who have sent in their thoughts on films from the last 10 years that they wanted us to talk about. So over to you, Oodles.
Nobody expects Oodles Inquisition. This week, we discussed the films we love from the last decade that aren't big budget blockbusters. So we obviously asked everyone on Twitter theirs. Very simple. We'll start with John Cheetham at John Cheetham1. If it wasn't for Parasite, then The Lighthouse would have been the film of the year last year. A svelte $4 million budget, an eerie and suggestive sequence of events, and the best performances Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson may ever do. Mandatory. Love The Lighthouse. I'm up for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a good film.
Also, I'm putting up Uncut Gems, another banger from last year. Adam Sandler, with a performance you can't tear your eyes away from, despite the fact it's actually stressful to watch. Now, I like Uncut Gems, but I'll never ever watch it again.
No, I won't. It's
fucking did my head in.
One of the most stressful experiences I've ever had watching a film. It's such a stressful thing. It got to the point where my wife had to leave the room because it was just, her anxiety was just going through the roof because of what was going on. She's just like, I can't finish this.
Very quickly, I haven't seen it. Why is it like that? I don't understand.
Just watch it. It's just super stressful. It's manic.
It's just Adam Sandler going from place to place trying to sort a problem out, but
they just get worse.
The way he is and the way the character is and the people he bumps into, and a
tip for you all as well. Don't watch his new follow-up, Hubie Halloween. It's horrendous. It's shite.
No, that's
fucking
I never would.
It's fucking shite. Anyway, Nimrod Hicks, sorry. Hi guys, there's no way I could let you talk about non-blockbuster movies without giving a shout out to Robert Rodriguez's Machete. A crazy epic romp, love the style and feel of it. It's one of my all-time favourites. It came out in early September 2010, so just technically outside the last decade, but I'm sure you can let that slide for the sake of a month. Great listen as always. Cheers, Nimrod Hicks. Yeah, we can have it.
Yeah, I was saying 2010 to 2020 anyway. So
I like Machete. I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I love the fact that it was born from
trailer.
Fake trailer.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm not a big Rodriguez fan, but that really did it for me. I like Machete. Really good. Rob Frodsham at Bob Frod. Now we're talking. My list is below with the caveat that I haven't seen anywhere as many films as I should have. Looking back at list to jog my memory, and there are so many I still need to see. Some of his top suggestions include Booksmart, Inside Llewellyn Davis, Journeyman, What We Do in the Shadows, Hunt for the Wilder People, and The Greatest Showman. Greatest Showman? As in, ladies and gents, this is the moment you waited for. That one.
Oh, you might get me singing again here. Oh,
I did enjoy it.
I can feel
thought
it.
was good.
It's brewing up. But no. The Greatest Showman film is average, but I fucking love the music.
I like Hugh Jackman. So I've got time for that.
But Booksmart is amazing. It didn't get a lot of traction in the cinema.
Mhm.
I suggest everyone should give that a go. The title that people are saying that it was Superbad for girls is absolute bullshit. It's nothing like Superbad. Just give it a go. It's such a good and clever film.
I've not watched it.
I heard good things about that.
Next, we've got Pete at Pete Beckett 1. I have gone with Whiplash. That film is utterly superb in every way. One of my favourite films from the last decade. It will soon become one of those films I watch at least once a year. Yeah, it's Whiplash. I don't like jazz, but I love Whiplash.
Yeah, same.
I'm exactly the same. I'm not a jazz fan at all.
It's so good. J.K. Simmons is one of his best roles.
Yeah, it's one of those films where the performances take you through the film and it doesn't really matter what the subject matter is.
Yes. It's so good.
So intense.
Next, we've got Best Boy Kurt Lewin at Angry Kurt. He added to the conversation with Pete to say that Whiplash became his favourite film of all time. He says, I saw it was about drumming and thought it would be about rock music. I think he's told us this before. So I was worried I wouldn't enjoy it much when it began, as I'm no jazz fan. But boy, was I wrong. I'm also a huge fan of that director now with La La Land and First Man. Yeah, same as me. I did not. I'm like, fucking jazz. People hate that I don't like jazz. People have said to me, you don't like jazz, what's wrong with you? But it's something I've never liked. That film,
I don't like jazz, so don't worry about it. But Damien Chazelle, those 3 films there are all brilliant.
Yeah, go on then, Biggie, you had something to say?
Can we just mention Kurt's reveal this week about a movie that he hadn't seen?
Yes. Go for it.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine seeing that for the first time?
Yeah.
Wow. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. It's his first time. And he loved it, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, otherwise he might...
he would not be best boy anymore.
No, he wouldn't. I'm so happy he enjoyed that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
To be young again, Biggie, to be young again. Oh, to know what we know now as well. Next is Aaron Muir and Heath at Tigerland. Drive. Moody, stylish, and beautifully shot. I agree with him. Gosling at his absolute best yet again. A brutal love letter to a dying Americana, but at times tender and even romantic. Also, one of the best soundtracks ever. I can't argue with that at all. Love that.
Great movie.
Drive is great. It's one of those ones I need to watch again. I haven't watched it in a long time.
God. His jacket as well that he wears. Oh,
yeah.
Oof. He's also put Nightcrawler is Jake Gyllenhaal's best movie, and there are some bangers. He plays Louis Bloom, a petty thief who discovers his calling filming accidents and crimes in the later hours. Bloom is emotionally vacant, determined and ruthless. To expand is to give away too much. Watch this fucking movie. I'm not sure the Joker would be the same movie without Nightcrawler. Now, I've not seen Nightcrawler, but I've been told so multiple times.
Definitely.
Yeah. Again, I think it's one of those ones, I've mentioned it before with some other things tonight, but again, Jake Gyllenhaal just completely looked over with awards.
Is he better than Donnie Darko?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Love Donnie Darko.
It's amazing.
I wasn't a fan of Donnie Darko.
Oh, watch it again.
At all. Yeah, maybe 20 years ago when I watched it.
Yeah, watch it again. It's really good.
Yeah, but Nightcrawler is outstanding, and Gyllenhaal is just he's so. Again,
we talked about gaming backlogs, but my movie backlogs is incredible at the moment.
Yeah.
I need weeks to get out of this.
Very true.
Next, sorry.
On Nightcrawler as well, like the lengths that his character will go to get the perfect story and stuff is just.
I remember seeing the trailer and the trailer like, ooh. So.
Yeah.
It's not about the X-Men Nightcrawler, is it?
No.
Which would be good. Anyway.
That would be some twist.
Yeah, he starts teleporting. Right, the Real Rider at Rider_555. He's put Parasite, Whiplash, Get Out, The Irishman, Social Network, Joker, Why? Just fucking watch them if you haven't. That's why. Yeah, after he didn't name a bad film then.
No, I think The Irishman probably a big budget film.
Yeah, but you could I suppose.
Yeah, it's not a blockbuster, I suppose, but it's up there with.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked The Irishman. It's a bit too long.
Yeah,
I should have made it a show rather than a film.
Have you all seen Get Out?
Yeah. I love Get Out.
Did you see
Get Out
Us?
is so good. Yeah.
Did you see Us?
Yes.
The one after.
Yeah, I enjoyed
them
it.
both.
Again, I really enjoyed it. Really good.
Get Out is. I just that was one that it was the choice between that, Grand Budapest Hotel and Paddington 2, and obviously Paddington won out.
Yeah.
But
I nearly picked
Get Out.
as
It's
well.
it's so good. Like, and it has so much to say as well. And there's so many, just like Parasite. There's so many things in that film that if you don't really pay attention, you'll miss it. It's just all these little details about, and it's well worth, once you've seen it, reading up about some of the things like hidden in that film, like little Easter eggs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah,
I've seen it twice now, I think. Might watch it again. Best Boy Kurt Lewin at angry_Kurt again comes in with this. The film I've not seen anyone bring up is First Reformed. I've never heard of it. It's Ethan Hawke's best performance, and he should have won awards for it. It's quite bleak, but it's about a priest whose beliefs are challenged by events happening around him and to him. A film like Whiplash I saw on a whim and came out utterly stunned, and I still think about it every so often. It had a profound effect on me. Also shout out to Nightcrawler, American Animals, and In Bruges.
Yeah, all great
films.
films.
First Reformed.
First Reformed is definitely on my watch list. I'd heard great things about Ethan Hawke, so it's sat on my watch list.
I'm not a big Ethan Hawke fan, to be honest. But
it's one of those ones that's probably not in a role you've ever seen him do before. So, but the other films you mentioned were great. American Animals, that really took me by surprise. That's definitely worth watching that.
And finally, long-time listener, first-time writer in. His name is Skin Tight Jeebers at SJeebers.
Whoa! How did his get through?
Not this guy.
No. I don't know how he did this. This guy's got some bad takes. Get ready.
We can cut this out.
He's put, The Handmaiden was absolutely brilliant. Wonderfully shot, tense, and keeps you guessing all the way through. If you haven't seen this one, put it on your list. Also, I recommend you should all watch Star Wars, a great saga, and indie films.
Okay. I mean, I agree, Jeebus. Star Wars is a great saga. But you missed the remit there. It was no blockbusters allowed. Sorry, mate. But
I don't know why.
Handmaiden is an outstanding film.
Is it?
It's just been added to Netflix, right?
It is. It's recently been on Netflix.
Yeah.
It is really good.
Another film. Sorry, before we finish that, it's just coming to my head. I completely forgot about this film actually, but it was absolutely fantastic when I watched it. And it's a drama which I don't normally watch, but Manchester by the Sea.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I've seen it.
Sad.
That was it is really sad, but it's brilliant.
It is really good.
Really, really good. So if you get a chance to watch that, definitely give it a go.
So, thanks to everyone, especially Jeebus, for recommending Star Wars.
Good shout.
And really good shout. And that's it for The Inquisition. Thanks, everyone. You're all film nerds, and I love it. And I bet Stig really likes seeing all these films popping up.
I do. I absolutely love the fact that so many of these films that I love were mentioned, and so many films on there as well that I have in my watch list that I want to watch. Specifically,
absolutely.
things like Inside Llewyn Davis and The Handmaiden, definitely high up there on my list to get watched. Thanks again, everyone, for emailing in or tweeting in. We had a great response this week, and it's much appreciated. So all that remains now is to head over to Doomican, and he's just going to read through the socials.
Yep, so you can find us on Twitter at Modern Escapism. You can also email us at modernescapism@gmail.com.
Hi there, it's Gadget in the edit. The email address is actually modernescapismpod@gmail.com.
You can join the Discord, which is a good place to be, for sure, I think. We've got a good vibe there. It's a good environment to hang out and chat. You can find that via our Twitter, I think.
Yeah, it's on the website as well.
Or you can just ask one of us and we'll get you in there.
You can just tweet us. Yeah, we'll get you in there.
Give us a couple of quid, we'll get you in the IP section.
Queue jump you. Yeah, we'll queue jump you. Don't worry about that.
It's the one where Jeebers isn't in.
Yeah, basically. The good take section.
Oh, jeebus.
Occasionally, we do stream. You can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/modernescapism. Last Friday, Oodles met his fate.
I failed my
At the
mission.
hands of
Fucked
the
it.
Crystal Sage.
Yeah.
Fucked it
You
is
weren't
the right word.
rolling.
Go on.
You weren't parrying and you weren't riposting.
Because I got arrogant. And I met my punishment and I played my punishment game. Detroit.
You did
Yeah, but you
that.
quite liked it, didn't you?
Yeah. Weirdly enough.
It's not a
That reaction
punishment game.
from you in that just.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The wheelchair physics are shite. And I've pushed people in wheelchairs and it's not that hard.
Yeah, if you head over to YouTube, search for Modern Escapism, Gadgets put together a best of stream, you can see Oodles' reaction to the interrogation scene in Detroit.
That fucks me up. I was like, what? How can you do this? So
That was
bad.
great.
Yeah, so is there another stream coming up? We may have one this Wednesday. We may have one this Friday.
Even if it's not what we say it's going to be, someone will take our place and we will get streams up on Wednesdays and Fridays because we lead busy lives. But I'm going to try to get there on Friday and play Resident Evil 2 Remake on the hardest difficulty with one life. It might be later than planned, later than 9 o'clock, but I'll definitely start it at some point on Friday night.
That's good.
Prepare
going,
to
that.
Survive series continues.
It does.
Yeah, possibly.
That could
I
end.
will
That could
return
end
to
at the
Dark
first
Souls.
encounter.
Yeah, Biggie's going back to Dark Souls, so we'll keep you informed on that. And again on Wednesday
Yes.
night.
Yes.
I don't want to, but I will.
You've got to. AKA Ladder Souls.
We might do another Rocket League or maybe another Among Us one because that went
Or both.
down really well. So yeah, so we'll keep you updated with that if you just check our socials for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So thank you everyone for listening. I really enjoyed that. I love talking about films. There's probably one that it definitely won't be the last time you ever hear us talk about films as our main.
I think we should
Topic of the
definitely do
week.
a massive AAA big budget discussion. at
Oh
some
yeah,
point.
we'll talk about that. We're going to cover action films. We'll cover. We've covered sci-fi, but we could cover more sci-fi films to be honest, because I know that Biggie really wanted to talk about that as well. So,
You were gutted that we were like, can we not just talk for another 10 hours?
yeah, horror films, adventure films, anything could go into there.
In the pipeline, we're planning on doing some watch-alongs as well. We're trying to work out the fundamentals of how to get that to
Logistics,
work, the logistics. But if watching films, especially with somebody like as passionate as Stig, will be fascinating because he'll be like, oh, in this scene, the director fell over and stubbed his toe, but he kept it in. You know what I mean? He'll know all them little nuggets of facts for you, so it's going to be interesting.
Oh, not
This
that
is a
bad.
nerd.
I am a nerd, but we're all nerds, aren't we?
No,
True that.
I'm a
Yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah, okay then. Right, so all that remains is to everyone to say goodbye. So thank you very much and goodbye, Oodles.
See you later, everybody. Thanks.
Goodbye, Biggie.
Thank you very much, guys.
And goodbye, Deemakin.
Thanks for all the recommendations. Good night.
And it's thank you from me and goodbye.
This is the rhythm of the night. Oh yeah, the rhythm of my life.